Welcome everyone to the AEL University League. We are back for more playoffs action, of course, for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. As always, my name is Luther, also known as Twosbees, and I'm joined by the one, the only TwoTapTony. How are you going tonight?
I'm keen. This is, we're getting into playoffs, we're getting into the thick of it, and we'll see who comes out on top this evening.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, we've had quite some hard-fought games so far, you know. We've had quite a lot of quality content come through from some of these teams already, and we've had quite a lot of really impressive performances all around. But we are going to be coming down to these next two teams, of course, that we will be seeing in this next matchup. Of course, it is going to be UNSW Roar versus the Unimelb Lorrydrivers in a best-of-3 bout, of course, and brought to us by our lovely, lovely sponsors.
Yeah, lovely sponsors, Predator, AOC, and RIG. Of course, Predator conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Predator, the gaming PC partner here of the AEL. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Put power and precision into your hands and elevate your gaming experience in every single way possible with quality and performance thanks to Predator. AOC as well. AOC just have launched a beautiful monitor. First ever monitor crafted for League of Legends specifically. League of Legends is represented in every aspect, from the iconic hex tech design and a logo to the specific game setting mode as well. In-game visuals achieve their fullest potential with this lovely monitor from AOC as well. Gee, what it takes to win. We'll see what team has what it takes to win this evening here for our lovely Uni League game. RIG developed quality headsets with superior audio for anyone in any sort of gaming environment or streaming environment for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout-outs, of course, to Predator, AOC, and RIG for helping to put on the show, helping to make everything, you know, possible and provide a platform for these players to showcase their skills, of course. These players, you know, have been doing their utmost to really just show off what they've been able to pull through. And, of course, as we've gotten through to those playoffs, 7 weeks of groups as the teams played each other in the round-robin format, but only the top 2 from each group remained. We saw some of those games last week as well with the upper brackets, where we saw teams now getting to this point, and we are seeing still in the upper bracket, of course, Unimelb and UNSW still here after being able to take each of their games. And both of these teams have been looking quite strong, I feel, over this season. We've seen quite a lot out of Unimelb overall, just a lot of consistent results from some of these players. Same can be said about UNSW Roar with some quite star-studded players on that lineup as well.
Yeah, you can look at this this UNSW Roar roster because I know Cirquest a ton. You know, he's floating around the amateur, the semi-pro scene for quite a while. He's always been one of those players that hasn't quite got his shot, but you know, I'm looking to see him put up some numbers this evening. I've definitely seen a boost in performance as well. Forvent from that old 1620 Kings roster. Always a player to look for. Viridian too. Just individual stars on this UNSW Roar side, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I feel like there definitely have been a lot of individual players coming out from UNSW Roar, which you can just kind of pick apart and just say, well, you know, you see them playing in all these other divisions. Again, Cirquest, Viridian, the players you just pointed out. But then we've also seen some quite impressive plays come out on the Unimelb side, where players like VJack, Stritz as well, have just, you know, really been showing themselves to be quite on top, really able to just get in their opponents' heads and really take things out. That's what we saw at least last week. I remember seeing with that game with Unimelb, where they were just looking so strong throughout. We saw VJack just in that first map on Mirage, absolutely dropping huge numbers. And that second map on Vertigo as well, the rest of the team just really picking things up, keeping it into a close or a very nice 2-0 for that side of things. UNSW Roar, can't remember exactly what the result was last week for that first round, but of course, they've just been looking so strong throughout the season overall, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a 2-0 result. Would definitely want to double check that, but overall, they've been quite the team to look out for as well, so I feel like this one could be quite close, maybe even a 3-map run hands.
I feel like, you know, there's a possibility of all 3 maps because going into it, it feels a very reminiscent Mirage. Appears to be our first map for this evening, and you know, it's going to be, I feel, up to the veterans for both these sides here. Because VJack leading this kind of new Unimelb, and they've looked very, very impressive, I have to say, in VJack. As well as you said, looked very impressive in their last game. And for the UNSW Roar, they kind of need to keep stable and keep focused in this one, especially as these new heavy hitter Uni League players.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've just seen so much come out from these sides, of course, but, you know, that's sort of the thing we typically see in the Uni League, of course. You know, we have, like, some of those clear-cut, you know, higher echelon teams come out from their group stage being able to survive through that test and really show what they're made of, really being able to just bring forth to the table their strengths and not really outlying too many weaknesses, but those same weaknesses definitely can get exposed when it gets down towards the playoffs. The pressure starts to build up, everything starts paying off, and again, you're versing those teams that had to pull off the same sort of results in the group stage where we saw teams that went undefeated throughout now finally, you know, coming up to this point where they're versing those top teams from the other groups that they hadn't met yet. And that's where things can definitely get very interesting, I feel.
Yeah, you kind of fighting the best of the best, and you have to put your best foot forward going into, you know, the first map of this series. Arguably, of course, the important one for both of these teams in this series this evening. UNSW Roar, of course, as we said, star-studded players. It's all about how they put the pieces together. Unimelb, they put the pieces together quite well as well to get to this point, and I'm interested to see how this first map will go. Any predictions here, Two Speeds?
I think that I said it would probably go to a 3-mapper. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw UNSW really get things rolling over on that first map of, I believe it's Mirage. Then I think maybe it would depend on how things go from there. But it does look like we are going to be getting right into things. Again, if it's that sort of 3-map we see come out, I feel like Unimelb are going to have to strike first. They're going to have to try and take their map pick and bring things away. It is going to be Mirage on that first map. We are going to be seeing second map Inferno and a decider of Ancient for our best of 3. Tony, take it away.
And here we go, live into the pistol. UNSW Roar versus Unimelb. Of course, Unimelb getting to start that T side so they can kind of feel out this defensive aggression or defensive opposition that UNSW Roar looking to put up. You can see the player jiggling out the window. The rest of Unimelb currently stacked up with apartments. No nades, just armor. Full block train out to the apartments. Able to take the first pick onto Orbit. And it looks like Redev gets find 2 in return. And Cirquest traded by Stritz. But Redev has done more than enough in the back of the site. Kirito takes out Redev, but gives sharp shots and very impressive taps. It's now Viridian versus Kirito in the duel of wits, the clash of fates. And this time, the raid boss is taken down. Kirito falls in first round to UNSW Roar.
Yeah, very close round, though, with Viridian being the only player left alive on that CT side of things. Viridian just holding onto that angle, just holding his crosshair there as Kirito tried to strafe back and forth around it, but in the end was taken out by that USPS, just being able to hit that sharp shot, and we'll see if some more sharp shots come out as well as Viridian just holds towards that window position, challenging over towards that top of mid. The 2 Molotovs coming through will ensure that VJack is forced out of position and will be forced to back away.
Very long-range MP9. I can see why everybody's opted to invest this gun into this second round. Cirquest also taking Kirito out. High bonus on the kills that you can get with this gun, but also seems to be not too bad at a range. Only 3 Unimelb players left here. Viridian popping a vent, popping a short down to lower mid. See, they're trying to walk jungle. Nobody's going to be checking if Redev's in that corner, and Elder Chill falls. Just Stritz and Beaver make the fight, but I don't think they're going to do anything against the MP9 of our capable main Cirquest.
I mean, that's just rough for Eli there, not checking the right angle, being so focused in on maybe someone sitting up over towards Palace or just towards that left-hand side, and not checking the right, of course. But we are going to be seeing a bit of reinvestment as well. We see Cirquest purposefully choosing to upgrade that MP9 into an A1S there and just leaving the former gun in spawn. But that, of course, is to match the predictable reinvestment now coming in from the Lorrydrivers as they are able to get themselves into their first buy, and it's paying off so far. VJack, Kirito able to find 2 openers. See Gibbs going out swinging, trying to take that pick early towards a main, but that attempt going to be falling short as he's forced out of position. Viridian trying to claw back at it, but will only get the heavy tag onto Kirito as the T side just mops up these over-pushing CTs, just getting so aggressive, going for these ego swings, but only one of them will pay off.
And now it's just Cirquest, the poor man, to do it. You can see a player coming from the apartments. Fell down to the site, dropped down a bench, and shots Well, they corrected the aim, set up perfectly there. Elder Chill and Unimelb going to be finding themselves the first of their board. UNSW Roar, unfortunately dropping that one, puts them in a little bit of a rough state economy-wise.
Yeah, not looking the best. Again, as I said, they had that kind of overinvestment there, where Cirquest, again, choosing to just fully buy up, even though he already had a weapon there that he could have held on to, and now he's kind of getting punished by that, because he's got himself the Deagle instead. He doesn't really have the funds to be able to hold on to one of those rifles, but we'll still try and challenge with what he's got regardless. VJack looking to do the same as well. We'll take out Forvin over towards short as Cirquest looks to reappear and try and challenge with one more. Redav will be able to help him out in the end, as Strit will also face the fury of the CTs, just overly aggressively swinging, but this time paying off as they now find themselves in the 3-on-2. Maybe a 3-on-1 if Gibbs can get the timing right here onto Kirito, although not quite challenging for that swing yet. I think he did spot him, but he's just looking to get into some smart positioning with Redav swinging out as well, who does eventually clear the corner.
Sharp stuff coming out of Redav to start this one off. You can see now just Elder Child Bomb come over towards that A site, but two players here for UNSW Roar. Viridian is going to be holding it down B. Redav cautious of a potential lower mid lurk, but Elder Child going to be coming from Palace in just a second. I don't expect Gibbs underneath, but will actually able to find a kill. Molly to CT, smoke to cross, and flash just for good measure. Elder Child needs to get that bomb down with 29 seconds and 2 players to do it. Can Elder Child?
Oh, it might be possible with the cover of this smoke here. Redav looking on that other side, not anticipating that he could be so close. Viridian not expecting it either, but as it clears, Viridian will finally spot it. I do like what Eli was trying to do around the smoke there. Certainly was quite the strategy, I feel like, just trying to use that cover and really play quite an unexpected position, but Viridian clearing it. And the other thing as well, just not really being super aware of where the player model was lying around the edge of that smoke. Just one of those kind of annoying things that comes up quite a fair bit in Counter-Strike. Just, you know, thinking you've got this kind of idea of where your opponent's going to see you, but in reality, it's something else.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to sometimes play around those smokes. It's always a fickle thing to experience as a Counter-Strike player, because we had a quick tech. I don't know what the issue was, but it seems to be resolved as soon as possible. Maybe, you know, a player had to plug a mouse in or something. Ran out of charge. Always a fickle thing with wireless mices here, but of course, round 5, Unimelb, not the greatest start to their T side, but still can look to find their way back into this one. AKs and Galil's forced out with a few bits of util scattered across the board. UNSW Roar, also not in the most healthy of economy state either.
We'll see what exactly they're able to do. Unimelb, they've gone for this default of just taking this mid control again. It's something we've seen from them time and time again so far. But UNSW this time being a lot more passive, not really going for those sorts of swings. They're just trying to hold on towards the site. Instead, just playing behind these smokes. As we see the T side rather start to reapproach, but as the smoke clears in front of Viridian, he will be able to swing in front of it and spot Eli out as well. Quick flash forward as he does get away, doesn't go for the re-swing, instead just holding on to that player advantage there. Now 5-on-4, looking quite good for UNSW as they look to hold on. Time ticking away for Unimelb as they try to get their way back up. VJack looking to try and challenge towards that window position, knocking Viridian down to 73 health, but no more blows to be exchanged.
You can see the blow to the util here. Unimelb, only 2 flashes and a molly. Bomb to be picked up by VJack, and Unimelb, they decide 30 seconds on the clock. Gonna run the gambit towards B. Of course, they're gonna have to run into a very capable Cirquest and Forvin holding this crossfire. One underneath the apartments towards the short side, one towards the bench. Molly comes out, in the right spot to bounce. Perfect shot to Kirito. Now 10 seconds, trying to drop into the site, and that's the bomb down. Forvin, perfect hold there. Cirquest across, and it's just nothing that Unimelb can do as they fall victim to a beautiful crossfire here from UNSW Roar.
It's the classic B site hold, sit one, get right, sit one, jail. Just hold that sight line, and as the T's push through, just play off each other perfectly. If you can't break that, if you can't throw the flashes through to disrupt that, well, you're just not going to be able to push forward. And that bomb dropping and just the pressure of having to get there down to the time, ultimately just falling apart for Unimelb, unable to get back up. And what else is falling apart as well is their economy right now, being unable to buy up anything. We'll be stuck with those 5 Deagles, no armor, no utility for anyone on the team, but they're hoping maybe to try and pick something up with these pistols if they can hit some of these shots. Redav will spot a player over towards Palace as Kirito just tries to jump around to spot something, but will get spotted instead. Minute 19 left as the team just a little bit disorganized, a little bit in disarray as they just play back, hoping for some kind of push to come through. Their wish granted by Viridian, but it's not going to go the way they expect.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate. Quick pick here for the UNSW Roar. You can see beautiful angle from Elder Child. Nice shot. Quest, that's the AK drops. Stretches found Viridian, and Elder Child takes another towards the B site. It's open up now for Unimelb as they get the bomb down, situate themselves in the post plant. And unfortunately for UNSW Roar, they don't have quite the util they want to go for this retake. Molly Smoke and a half-tagged Redav. You can see that maybe UNSW Roar call for a save, but they have called Kirito towards short and the lurk, making it doable now. Just checking the corners, but that bomb is pretty far ticked, and still 3 players to deal with. I don't think they can go for this, Tisbees.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not really possible. Again, the timing, but even if you've got that kit on Gibbs, you're just unable to get your way back into it. Gibbs at least does deny 2 of those T's from saving guns, which is still really huge, but it's in terms of the bigger picture there, that's Deagle's into a round win for Unimelb, being able to also take away that A1S for Strit, and now having the economy to be able to buy up those AKs for the rest of the team. That's just absolutely such a huge round for Unimelb, being able to take it away at that point. UNSW Roar, they still will have the money for a buy. Gibbs will be able to save an AK from the previous round as well as some utility and a kit, but overall just not really much that they were able to get away with on the CT side as things really paid off over for Unimelb, and they're looking to try and have that happen again. Flashes, smokes, all going out towards the A side as they try to get their hit in. Beaver as well with that Molotov will force Gibbs out of position, and Street's looking to try and take advantage. Will swing onto one, finds a kill while Flash in the second, a while he can spot him. Gibbs trying to get back towards the site, but will be taken down.
And I'll pop on the bench, Sir Quest. Quick to trade back, and now UNSW Roar their way back in. You can see Unimelb have got great post-plant positioning. You see V-Track over towards Sandwich. One towards Fire, one towards Tetris, and one towards Palace. Angles going to be so hard to check for Viridian. And it's what Viva, sorry, on top of the firebox. It's out. Kirito, V-Jack holding this line from Sandwich, and V-Jack collect 2, Kirito 1. Another round to Unimelb.
Good recovery from Unimelb overall. They've been able to just show quite a lot in the last few rounds, especially that round where they were able to take things away with pistols, just really showing quite a lot of strength in their T side so far on Mirage. I mean, this is their map pick, of course. They definitely want to have a good start here to be able to kick off this best of 3, be able to show what they can to hopefully take this map away and try and swing it into a second. That's what both teams, of course, are vying for, but Unimelb certainly hoping that at least in this first half they can get themselves a good start. They've got a good start into this next round, of course. Their opposition just not having it too much as far as weaponry goes. Gibbs maybe hoping to try and make a play with that M4A4, trying to do whatever they can, but as we see the push come out from Unimelb, it's largely going to be some of these players on those pistols left to defend.
Well, that's the P250s and Deagles, probably the most ideal of state. We've seen some crazy things happen. We've already seen Unimelb take a round with just Deagles and pistols. Smoke sets up for the exec strits. That one over the top. Elder Child? Go back by Gibbs. The only M4 on the table would be the hero one. And UNSW need right now, but Gibbs is taken out by V-Jack Beaver. Check to default. Kirito spray down Viridian. It's Forvent P250. And a high flash play is coming towards that with one. But not a second, unfortunately. Unimelb are going to tie it up at 4-4.
I mean, hey, at least Forvin is able to take that kill there with the P250 for a fairly minimal investment. It's still a gun out of the hands of the T side, and they're going to have to rebuy for that one as well as the other one they lost to Gibbs. But overall, still a resounding victory for Unimelb in that round, being able to get the bomb plant down and just flush out the side of those pesky CTs sitting on it. Being able to cut off the rotate as well. Just absolutely getting everything into order there. UNSW Roar hoping to pick up some of that momentum, pick up where they left off with those first few rounds. They were able to secure themselves and be able to add to it here. Will come taking fights, and Forvin will be able to take that one, although just narrowly getting away as he finds Eli, but gets knocked down to 1 HP. Gibbs as well with the gap in that smoke there will be able to spot that one onto Kirito as well, but VJack will trade for it. The bomb now going down up into the cover of that smoke, but Redav there to deny as he sprays through. Will spot another jumping back around as well. Still very low though, but buying enough time for the rotate to come in.
Yeah, there's a player coming around from the flank, and I don't think Beaver or VJack are going to expect it. Viridian City coming in quick. Firebox player Beaver is going to be taken out. Good HE in a great position there from UNSW Roar. Able to just hold down the site, just waits for the right time to pounce, and the right time was Viridian coming from that flank and picking up a beautiful 2.
Not too bad overall from that side of things, as now we're going to be seeing Unimelb just try and get themselves back up again, this time going for that same sort of mid-take as they were going for in those previous rounds. We see that Molotov come through, but will be extinguished over towards a window as Viridian hides on that other side of things. Kirito will jump up with that MAC-10, but neither player spotting each other thanks to the cover of that smoke, just managing to buy them both a little bit of time there as Unimelb evaluate their options. If that smoke clears, Viridian will be the first to react, managing to spot the head of Kirito finally, but still unable to find an escape plan there. No smoke in hand, but his teammate Gibbs will be around from the other side to help him out with one. And now we're going to be seeing the T's just ready to group up again to try and hit that A site once more. Redav just jumps spotting back and forth over by ticket. We'll definitely catch something out as now the T's start to exit onto the site.
Starting to walk out to Tetris, Beaver up and powerless. Nobody has checked for Stritz, who's making his merry way up to Con. Able to take out Gibson. Free pick for Unimelb, but they still have to get into the site. They still have to deal with Redav. Beautiful spray Forvent to find Stritz and VJack. Now, to play in the 1v3. Very experienced overall individual. VJack. It's not about the experience, it's about taking these gunfights. It's about isolating 1v1s. Cirquest to short. Forward. Jungle corner. You can see. Another player see. That's the first VJack finds Cirquest. Hasn't spotted the gun barrel. Goes forward in his corner for the moment, but Forvid decides to come on out of hiding. Takes out VJack and finds another round to UNSW Roar.
But he was just thinking to himself, man, if only I had a Molotov there, if only I was able to just throw it into that cubby corner to flush out a player if there was one waiting, and, well, there was. Swing coming out, just being absolutely perfect to find that 6th round now for UNSW Roar, who have really been able to pick things back up. I think Unimelb, you know, having changed their approach up a little bit, again, just going for the same sort of mid-takes and those sort of slower plays that we saw from them early on, but not quite working out. Now we're seeing the Palace Rush come through instead, the Waterfall out, with the Glock train absolutely working out to full succession as the bomb plane goes through very swiftly. That A4 picked up off of Gibbs as well leads the CT side back into rotation, but they will be able to claim at least one kill as they try to get back onto the site. They will have the superior weaponry and utility to work around, but the positioning absolutely there for the T side as they strike too. Now VJack having a gun to work with as well. Will throw that flash up as he goes for the swing, but Viridian ultimately going to be spotting both players in quick succession, and we'll be able to take it out. Absolutely great round from Unimelb, but UNSW Roar not letting it slip away.
And what can I say? We spoke about Viridian's performance in, you know, a few other leagues, a few other tournaments, and as one of our players to look for this UNSW Roar, 10-4. Right now, Redav as well, doing great work for UNSW Roar on the CT side so far. 7-4. Unimelb now to a bye though, but you know, they only get so many buys in this first half, and they kind of want as many as possible going into the second.
115 ADR, by the way, for Viridian so far.
Ooh.
Just an absolutely massive performance. So much damage being put through. That's really what it takes. Ultimately, you know, you can play around strategy as much as you want, but ultimately, so long as you're able to get those kills onto the opposing team, you're going to be able to find that advantage and be able to play off of it. And, well, Viridian's been certainly quite good at that so far. Unimelb, though, able to find a kill of their own going into this next round, will be able to spot out Redav as Beaver takes control over towards that lowers angle. But Viridian, again, man of the hour, just waiting on the other side, hoping it to spot the swing out. And as Beaver tries to go quietly and carefully, will it be anticipated on the other side?
Great corner angle being taken there by Viridian. Hard to check for if you're Unimelb. Absolutely. Now to the east side, Turquest taken out on the truck by Elder Chill. Got no... Oh, Elder Child, sorry, right now. Got no chill. Takes out 4 bit towards short, and that smoke set up before the executive spotted Viridian in the market window. Unimelb have control of the site. Viridians are going to come in, not going to stop. He is going to be taken out. Elder Child, once again, a roaring 3 for this round.
Yeah, absolutely huge kills coming out for Eli Elder Child. Don't know what he prefers, but either way, absolutely has been quite the player to watch out for as well for the Unimelb side. But Gibbs, so far, also looking to try and make some highlight plays, does manage to, as he does, put a bit of a thorn on the sides of Unimelb, now trying to go for this round, and will be able to spot another player as well. Now this is looking much more doable, but Stritz in the right position to be able to cut him off in the end. The AWP just the perfect weapon to do it, and of course playing that long angle to perfection will yield another round going the way of the T side, as so far things really keeping nice and close here. I mean, that was definitely a valiant effort coming out from Gibbs to go for that clutch. I mean, if it wasn't for that angle, if he was a player closer inside, I'd say that would be definitely much more doable, but just fortunately enough for Unimelb being able to play further back, working out. And now UNSW Roar back down to these pistols, the scout as well for Viridian as they try to pick up the pieces, mostly just playing around that A site, but leaving Cirquest by himself over towards B will get shut out.
That's the unfortunate position kind of put upon in this eco round for UNSW Roar. But, you know, for the Roar, if they're able to steal away a gun, maybe make it expensive, take a gun, grab a second, and just really snowball it from there. This could be expensive for Unimelb. You see 0 cash for a few players across the Unimelb roster. Redav holding a great close angle with his P250. Might be looking to sneak on Kirito in just a second, but Kirito's ready. Yeah,
Kirito just waiting for that to happen, of course. I mean, we have seen those aggressive plays come from UNSW in rounds like these, so it was kind of a no-brainer that he would anticipate it in a way, but still just playing it very well, being able to find another kill as well, swinging out as Gibbs, now waiting on the other side, will be able to just spot that kill onto VJack, or jumping as well. That's just an absolutely very nice shot coming out from that Deagle, but unable to find anything, well, never mind. Actually does manage a second one onto Eli there. Gibbs does bide his time and is a little patient with it, but we'll be able to strike once again. And now things definitely we're looking a bit more worrying, but Streets again with that AWP once more in the post plant, putting things right into position. Kirito as well finding that third kill for the round, as Unimelb only now trailing behind by 1 round.
Yeah, they're starting to find a lot of success today. UNSW Raw, you know, they've just been giving them too many plants. They've been giving them too many opportunities to open up that site. And mid, of course, being left very much free for the taking. The side of Unimelb if they want it. It was top mid smoke. This time Viridian and Cirquest going to send it unders, while Gibbs connected, taken by Kieran. So beautiful. Crossfire being established. Molly burns out Cirquest. Unimelb have come back with a vengeance here in these last few rounds and not looking to stop. It's just Redav and Forvin.
They've just been looking so good so far, being able to find all these kills in these quick successions. And we see it again, Redav going down on the A site as well, opening that up. And of course, the mid-round call will be made with only 1 player left in A looking relatively clear. Forvin likely to be on the B site, of course he is. Unimelb will be able to go and get that bomb plant down to make sure that they can secure themselves the round. Forvint, unsure of really where to progress. I think a save certainly would be a good idea coming through here. I mean, 1 versus 4 with the Famous. No head armor either. Not that it really matters against 3 AKs and an AWP, but still nevertheless, just not really enough to kind of go for it. Definitely not enough players to go for it either. We're just going to be seeing now as Unimelb, they've been really picking things back up over the last few rounds. They've really been showing just a lot of firepower in general, being able to just take these duels in such explosive force, being able to just go for these swings and find these quick shots when needed. UNSW Roar as well haven't really slowed down too much. They've made some of these closer, but ultimately it just hasn't been going their way for the last few. As now we get into the last round of the half, and we get to see which team is poised to take the advantage going into the next half, going towards the next pistol round.
It's not going to be great for UNSW Roar. Once again, you can see the economy well dwindled out. 2 scouts, Famous MP9, Deagle for Forvint. And again, Unimelb just going to take some top mid control. UNSW Roar, this time they're happy to give it up. They know they can't really fight it with the guns that they possess, and with a very limited amount of util too, you can't really blame them. Yeah,
it's just, you just don't have enough to go with in that case, right? It's just a matter of not having that utility to really fight heavily for it, and just trying to make the best of the scraps you're able to manage to get your hands on, I suppose. We see the double scouts, which could be quite interesting if we see some shots come out. Gibbs has been looking very sharp overall, and Viridian, well, that's definitely a player with a lot of expectations for sharpshooting to come through, and we've seen no less than that so far, but Gibbs being the one to deliver first off will be able to find that kill onto VJack and drop a gun towards Connector. Maybe Redab on the other side might be game to try and go for it, but Street's finding a kill on the other side certainly will scare him off a bit. Kirito finding one towards the A side also.
It's all about the map, it's all across, it's all around the world. You can see that Unimelb going to go to the B site while Redav takes a fight against Kira, so we'll be backing off. Actually came out in the losing end of that one. Redav, AK bottom mid. Looks to swap the MP9 out. Forvint. He just wishes he had one of these guns right now, because Unimelb, he is able to take out a chop with the M4, but burns to the molly as it darts. Just doesn't dissipate from that smoke. Already in a Redab to resync. Unimelb can set up for this post plant. They've got another smoke picked up by Beaver too. This is a great hold to go for. Stritz looking towards the window. Leg shot for Viridian, but a scout trade back tag. Kirito holding the other side, holding the other angle. Redab, not a chance he walks out without getting shot by at least one Unimelb player. And what a great way to close the half for Unimelb. 4 rounds in a row to find one to going into this pistol.
I mean, certainly a great recovery, because it was looking very strong for Unimelb overall, at least towards the beginning there, where we saw that 4-1 lead come out, or rather in towards UNSW Roar, where they had that 4-1 lead. They were able to pick things up really early, but from that point onward, it just seemed like Unimelb were really picking things up a lot on that T side. As they had that kind of economy as well, they were able to just force their opponents into those rebuys time and time again, not really allow them to hold themselves continually on a lot of money there, and just force them back into these rough situations where by the end of the half they were just going forth with these scouts, with these MP9s, whatever they could get really towards the end. But now, of course, with the full reset coming out here, we are going to be seeing some fights taken mostly towards the A side, where we see that one player for the UNSW Raw side, Forvin, just trying to take control over towards A as the team exits out on to the B side, and they're doing quite a good job of it so far. Redav finding 2 massive kills, and Gibbs with a 3rd.
Stritz, unfortunately, only one too many players to deal with. UNSW Raw, that's the way they want to take pistol, especially after the last 4 rounds went so convincingly to Unimelb. Finally able to answer in the second half, and starting it off, back 10's Galil's AK for Redab, and trying to get cash up are Gibbs and Viridian, and you can see potential A main push straight up. Surplus is going to be played. The Eco's farming them up for Gibbs. Quick 3 from Gibbs. Pulls out the pistol for the 4th. Gibbs collecting more than a hat trick of frags. Getting so much money to boot as well.
just so good overall from Gibbs in the end there, just being able to find all of those kills in quick succession, of course. It is the anti-eco, you're kind of expecting that sort of advantage to go the way of the side that was able to take that pistol round, but still, nevertheless, it is always quite impressive to see kills just come through that quickly like that. But Unimelb, of course, wasting no time in getting themselves back onto another gunfire round. We'll be going for the swing over towards Connector as Eli tries to push up with that A1S, but ultimately, we'll just get shot in the legs there, tagged down to 67, will be able to escape with his life, but ultimately also have that information to play off of as well, as no players traded back and forth. We are going to be seeing some control over towards A as Cirquest hits quite the sharp shot onto VJack to find that opener, and Viridian poised to find another as well over towards mid. Will find it onto Beaver as he goes for the swing.
Orbit finds Elder Child. They're just finding everybody right now. Unimelb, there's nowhere you can hide from the Roar. Kiritsu, the last to do it. M4 flash smoke. Full HP. Full armor. Forward. Unfortunate peek to jungle. The Raptor's coming in. Gibbs has the exit point. Kirito not going to get out of this murder hole alive, and that's why it's called murder hole. Murder afflicted Gibbs. 18 kills and 10 for UNSW Roar.
Very interested to see how UNSW are going to go on Inferno. That's definitely been a map where they've shown themselves to be quite strong. Unimelb, I can say the same as well. Inferno's just been a bit of an interesting map when it comes to both of these teams overall, but again, with them both pitted against each other, it's going to be quite interesting, especially if UNSW can keep up this form on their opponent's map pick of Mirage. Once they get onto their choice, it could be quite exciting, of course. We could really see quite a lot of strength from them in this BO3. Unimelb certainly hoping that they can try and still contend for this one, but losing that player early, not having the economy to work with in this round as well after failing to win their bye round, certainly does make things rather tough. Cirquest going to be throwing that util over towards the B side. We see that smoke land over towards a window and see the one over towards the door as well. Just the entire site getting blanketed as now Unimelb unable to hold on to it.
Able to put in possession, Unimelb. 3 players, Deagles. Ah, beautiful molly. 2 HP, Elder Child. Forced to back off. You can see that Unimelb can't really do much about this. This is just UNSW Roar flexing their muscles after a 1 gun round. Elder Child. Maybe an exit peek or two. You can see Gibbs and Forbit. Low HP bars, but Forbit. You know, take out Elder Child. Deagle's kept by VJack and Stritz, and this goes 11 to the Roar. After what we saw, Unimelb had quite a strong close, but the Roar are back with their winning ways to start off these first 4 rounds in a row.
I mean, they're going to be in a lot of trouble if they can't get one of these bye rounds on the board, really. That's kind of the gist of it. If they can't get themselves back in and start breaking down that economy, which has been just absolutely climbing up for the T side there, it's going to be quite difficult. We see Gibbs and Viridian already and on 9 and 8k respectively, so they're going to have plenty of money for future buys going through. Unimelb not having that same luxury, of course, only now just able to afford themselves the basics, including an AWP, which will be put to good use very early on in Stritz's hand, finding that kill onto Redav as he goes for that swing towards mid, and that is going to be enough to get UNSW to just kind of give up that mid control, and instead those 2 players supporting Redav there will be swinging back over towards Apps, but Kirito has that side as well. We'll be able to find a kill as over towards that side also, and that is going to be quite a strong start from Unimelb, being able to find 2 openers and just fall back off it, holding onto those numbers advantages, really just setting themselves up.
Setting themselves up for success right now, Stritz. Elder Child holding this cross towards middle. You can see that UNSW Roar are actually going to take the fight. Forvin finds Elder Child and connects to VJack. He's double take on the shots to Gibbs. Will actually able to find it. Flash. Left side B. Viridian not going to be blinded. Not going to be found out just yet. Kirito. Perhaps safety market. Viridian's got the bomb. No teammate to help out just yet. Forbin will finally come from the apartments. Taken out by the spray down by Beaver. Viridian Molly Flash Smoke and 4 players here. 20 seconds he needs to also get the bomb down. And we'll be planning it. Very nice.
What a good smoke.
What a great smoke.
Oh, Kirito able to get back in though in the end. Will be quite the valiant attempt. I honestly thought he'd set himself up with that one. Being able to get the bomb plan with all those players on that angle at all is just a massive, massive accomplishment from the side of Viridian there, being able to get that one down. But ultimately, Unimelb, those opening picks were what did it. As soon as it just came down to a matter of numbers, players against players like that, and just UNSW Roar not having the numbers to go against it, Unimelb really just able to set up quite the strong CT side, but a nice strong pick coming out from Redav as well.
Yeah, full blind. Flash. Doesn't really matter. Redav. Sniper in quick succession. Beaver falls to short side, and UNSW Roar back with a passion, it would seem. Another shot. Bijak read like an open book novel. And a storytelling performance from Redav in this round. Elder Child now scoped in, but can't make the same success. Forbit's coming bouncing through the window for a knife. A little bit cheeky. Elder Child, no scope for Redav. 4K and 12 on the board. UNSW Roar take a foul. Redav's your author in this round.
Oh, that's a round that absolutely could go on a frag movie for Redav there. Just the 4K with a no-scope at the end. That's just absolutely some quality stuff coming through. Really just cementing why that player has been so good, and now sitting on 18 kills, the top fragging player as well for the UNSW side, which definitely saying a lot about his strength. That's just absolutely just been incredible things to come from the AWPer on UNSW, but now Unimelb, hoping that they can still hold out here, will be able to force themselves up a buy of their own and still do have themselves an AWP to work with. Vjak will find that opener onto Redav, but Cirquest there for the very quick trade.
You can see. So Beaver AWP says dinked. Down to 76. Elder Child. Nice little off angle. Nobody's going to respect it. Cirquest, that's the bomb. Out in sandwich, out in no man's land for the moment. Great shot from Gibbs. Find it back. Forvent. Let's retrieve the bomb, but they need to be cautious. There's 2 players here jungle just to hold the cross. Bomb is in the hands of Forvent. Gibbs was the one to cross. Great HE lands onto 2 players. Doing some damage, softening them up. Viridian goes in with that AWP. He's going to go for the swing, and I don't think that's the play right now. They don't have the bomb down, and they don't have any room to work with. There goes Gibbs. It's now Forward, still stuck in sandwich. Position reveal, Beaver takes. Position is taken. Kirito from CT takes Forward, and an unfortunate blunder there from UNSW Roar.
Yeah, but some great swings as well, and some great fights coming from Unimelb being able to just pick their targets and play really quite well off that, being able to just kind of strategize and play very smart as they were able to just hold onto the site together and really play together ultimately to get that done. Another great pick coming out from Stritz, also taking Viridian out nice and early, but of course the focus still being towards the B side. We'll see the charge come through. That Molotov from Kirito being absolutely fantastic. Will burn Cirquest as Beaver holds on from the other side. We see the crossfire working out to absolute perfect positioning there. And now Forvin left in the 1-on-5. Will be good for 2 in quick succession, though. Will be flashed out, and he's stuck over towards that apps position. Has to use some of the utility to get away here. The smoke may be good to try and pick up the bomb, but where can he go from here?
That's the question. Molly, flash. Could maybe get out apps with a flash. A perfectly executed one, though. You can see the cross is being held so diligently by the side of Unimelb. He will pick it up 11, go 12, and go a broken bye here for UNSW Roar. This is where Unimelb can really start to take it back.
I mean, we saw Forvin there. That was a really good smoke, I feel, just being able to get that bomb at least, but definitely have the time to try and run back around as well. Of course, you got to just make a bit of a gamble play. You have kind of a risk decision of you don't know where those CTs are all going to be sitting, of course. You don't know if you're going to run into them as you run down lowers. They're certainly going to hear you from short if they're playing up there. Definitely just having to try and take any fight possible, but ultimately UNSW Roar now aren't going to have the firepower to go for some of these fights, having only pistols to work with, so their strength in numbers and just upping that pace very quickly is why they're going to be going for this waterfall out palace. VJack readjusts for this positioning here, will be able to get under the palace and find 4 kills in quick succession, just mowing them all down one by one as they fall in front of him. And Eli able to pick up that 5th kill as well. No ace for VJack, but still huge numbers to come towards that player there. Being able to just completely shut that down and most importantly, deny a plant for the T side.
They're using veteran-like precision. VJack surgically removes UNSW Roar from that waterfall stake. Now, Z setting up for a potential big round number 25. UNSW Roar fully invested into this one. Unimelb, ton of cash still in their back pockets, needing to spend it if they have to. Stritz, elder child. VJack all towards A. See, UNSW Roar have been given freedom of mid, but these smokes, they deny so much vision, and they also deny so much space that UNSW Roar need to take.
Very nice from Sirquest there, being able to spot Kirito. Bit of unfortunate timing for him, I think, there. Just pushing up apps, but not quite spotting that player on the T side. And as he goes to try and push down towards lowers, that's when Sirquest was able to emerge. So not quite exactly how he would have hoped for that play to go. Probably thought, oh wow, this is looking fantastic. I've got all this apps control, and then all of a sudden, the re-emergence of a player. But Eli striking back with 2 quick kills towards Con, really just doing such a great job at denying map control for the T side. Now cornered in for a B push here as Forvin, Sirquest, and Gibbs start walking their way back up, ready to go off together. They've got the flashes to work with, 3 of them to be precise, and a singular smoke on Forvin as they look to exec out.
Here they come into the light waiting hands of Beaver. Able to find and chomp down onto Eli out through the market window. Decapitates clotheslines Sirquest. 13 Unimelb. UNSW Roar, as we said, invested into that one fully, so their economy broken wide open. Tech9's Deagles. Any pistol they can muster. Unimelb. This is where they can start to close it.
They've got the works. They've got everything they could potentially want here on the Unimelb side of things. And they've got that now round advantage also. And UNSW Roar back down to these pistols. We've seen that they can hit some of these Deagle shots, but they're certainly going to have to pull out some miracles to try and tie things back up in this round. Otherwise, it's going to be in the next one where they'll have those guns. And that's the round that is absolutely must win for them. They really just need to stop Unimelb from getting to that number 15, because by then it's just going to be so much pressure to force them into overtime on this map. So they certainly need to just try and find themselves in a good position as best as they can, as quickly as they can here. Maybe we can see something come from UNSW as they've just taken a lot of map control, but they will lose a player. Kirito, having heard those Tech9 shots come through over towards apps, will just spray through the smoke and manages to pick up a kill.
Quick little one. Stritz, though, taken by the D shot. Gibbs, that's Orp. Down at stairs. And UNSW Roar now look to make a football. You can see low HP bars, Elder Child holding towards the connector exit. Redav flashed up down to 2 HP. Flash out Elder Child by Sirquest. Great discipline here from Elder Child. I have to say the swings have been on point. Beaver. That's Redav, and now it's just Viridian City. Sent back to Pallet Town. 14 here for Unimelb.
Yeah, sent back indeed to go collect his starter, of course. We are going to be seeing now Unimelb just absolutely on a warpath towards victory and taking their map pick. As UNSW Roar, they were challenging their opponents so unbelievably well early on, being able to find so much, but in the end, it's just been Unimelb over these last few rounds, especially since the half switchover, just showing so much on that CT side of things, being able to just deny all of these crucial rounds. This is going to be the round that UNSW need to win, and they're going to start it off with a bang. Quick kill on to that window player of Stritz, just playing with that bit of a weird angle there, jumping up onto the boxes. Just giving him an off angle to work off of. Elder Child as well goes for that re-swing towards Con, but Viridian anticipates it. We'll be waiting and watching with that AWP, as that now opens up a lot of possibilities here. 3 on 5. Unimelb now having to struggle to hold on to these sites. Over the next minute, hold them off it. Well, Kirito may be in a good position to do so.
Kirito's in a very, very wild one. You can see 2 players just outside. There's 2 players going towards A. It's actually going to be VJack pushing up, finding one on the Gibbs. Well, that was just a seldom bait. Kirito now, the one that Fate has met. Player in kitchen. 3 more to come this way in just a second. Smoke drop the molly. Greatly planned. Kirito sprays through to find Redab. The bomb has been picked up, but Kirito locking down B site, not letting the Roar in.
Oh no.
So Quest Viridian, they have to rotate over, and look who's in con, waiting, none other than Beaver, ready to go. Headshot Sirquest, and at 42 HP, Viridian City finds it, and a 1v1 ensues. 10 seconds to go get this bomb down, and then 10 seconds or more to go and find a good position.
Oh, the time there just absolutely made it so impossible, as Kirito finally able to get back in it as well, but more importantly being that player to find those two kills towards Apps and just delay them. UNSW, they were so amped up and ready for that Apps push to come through, but ultimately not having it go their way, not being able to work out in their favor. And that is going to be now map point coming the way of the Unimelb Lorrydrivers. Just 1 away from sending it over to their opponent's map pick of Inferno. They looked like they were being challenged so much on this map. It looked like things were just not going their way for such a long time. But, well, just look at this streak of rounds here. 6 in a row on this CT side for them. After a bit of an early start from UNSW Roar, they've slowed down to a halt on that T side. Has Unimelb just looking to try and charge ahead to get themselves into that upper bracket finals. Of course, it'll take another map, plus taking this one to do so, but they're setting themselves up for a great path for it.
Yeah, I have to say, and you know, we call back to the vetoes here. This is, of course, Unimelb's pick, but UNSW Roar definitely had a lot to play with this one. We'll go to our second, which will be Roar's pick of Inferno. And, you know, for Unimelb, ideally, they're going to have to hold their heads high and keep the same form from Mirage into Inferno, because I know the Roar are quite a capable team. I've seen a few of these players play Inferno very, very well, but round number 28 underway. No AWP this time. It's all A1Ss and all util here and all full focused for this last potential or the subsequent few more rounds to come.
Yep, hoping to try and find something else at least. We see UNSW Roar again just going for this sort of mid presence and this B presence here and just leaving that one player in Gibbs back towards A. Again, very typical default we've seen from them already, and they're trying to go for it once more, hoping to just passively take map controls. We see Redab go for that swing towards Con, will spot a player, but ultimately not able to find the kill. Tries to jump up over towards a window, but not quite making it. Eli waiting on the other side. Elder Child being able to find that kill and show just exactly what he can bring to the table. Beaver finding one as well, but ultimately the CT side of things just winning out again and again as the trades come through, plus the extra kills as well. Leaving it down now to Sirquest and 4vint, 2 on 4 with 40 seconds left to get that bomb down. But CT's waiting them on the other side of either site. 4vint tries to challenge for Con, but will be shut down, and VJack just holding on. Eli goes for the swing, and that is going to be that. Unimelb take out their map pick, 16-12.
Yeah, quite a close one, 16-12. It's no laughing matter here. Unimelb really got tested here on Mirage, and I have to say, a great performance out of Kirito and Stritz. Elder Child 2 for Eli, very much holding it down there and finding the multi-frags, the multi-kills necessary for the side of Unimelb to get that one across the line. UNSW Roar, I feel like they're going to be fired up, though, going into Inferno.
Yeah, absolutely have to be, right? It's just been such a fantastic map coming from them overall in this last one, so we'll have to see how exactly they're going to carry through. Well, we are going to cut to a quick break, but don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AEL University League for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Of course, we are in the second round of the upper bracket, and we are going to be heading into our map number 2, of course. My name is Twosbees, and I'm coming to you once again with TwoTapTony. Tony, we saw quite the impressive 16-12 result come out in that first map for Unimelb, but now we're heading over to the UNSW pick of Inferno. How do you think this one's going to turn out?
Interesting. I feel, of course, we saw a lot of big plays out of UNSW Roar. Unfortunately, they fell short at the last hurdle. We saw so many CT rounds picked up piece by Unimelb. But of course, I have to credit Redab's performance in that last game. Those were some great shots with the AWP, but also, as well, when he wasn't AWPing, it was very much great gunplay all around. And we need a little bit more of that for the UNSW Roar going into the second map, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like UNSW Roar, again, they showed what they were capable of. There were so many of those rounds there where they brought things just so close there that it just felt like they were just on the precipice, on the cusp of being able to take that one. Only a few rounds difference in the end there. Only a few things back and forth, only a few changes, and, well, we could have seen a very different result. But Unimelb, in the end, being able to string things together to pull off that win. And now they're hoping to get it done in 2 maps. Of course, if we don't see it on Inferno, it will be that decider of Ancient as our map number 3. So it should be very interesting if this series does go the full 9 yards, of course. But only time will tell how that goes, and it'll all be down to whether or not UNSW Roar will be able to pick things up and claim this map of their own to keep this series going. Unimelb, of course, hoping for quite the opposite, hoping to just try and carry on that momentum they had from those latter stages of that first map and bring it over to Inferno.
Yeah, success came from that CT side, and to look at the way the beaters have gone, Unimelb have actually opted to pick CT side here to start Inferno off, so arguably starting on the better side for their performance in that last game, and that's going to be a great boon going into this one, because of course UNSW Raw are going to have to push into them. They're going to have to break them early to find these few rounds. Unimelb with that last kind of state of Mirage was very, very locked in, playing together, playing the cross, playing the trades, and executing so well in those last few rounds.
Yeah, 100% right. I mean, they just looked so good towards the end, ultimately. The CT side coming out there, just being able to very much so overwhelm their opponents and be able to take that one out. Being able to just string things together and really make it so difficult for the UNSW Roar to really get anything together by the end. With all those rounds in a row just going their way, just looking unstoppable. I think it was something like 7 or 8 rounds in a row towards the end, something to that effect, and it was just such an impressive result to see. But again, Inferno, very different beast, very different map, very different layout, a lot of different ways in which you have to play it, being able to take those map control actively, be able to fight in all these different ways. It definitely leads to a lot of change-ups as to how teams go for their approach on this map. It's definitely something where you have to think of it a little bit differently to something like Mirage. And it'll be very interesting to see how both of these teams will adjust.
Interesting thing to note that, we've got Foreman here in the server, but I believe he's currently overseas right now, so he's playing this Uni League game from, a different place, and, that, of course, kind of affects how you want to play this game out. Some shots maybe not register as quick as possible, but we saw not a bad performance out of Foreman despite this kind of, rough situation that he put himself into.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Forvin's still playing at something like 90 or 100 ping, so not something unplayable. That's, I don't know if you've ever gotten matched onto some of the Singapore matchmaking servers or anything like that before, Tony, but it's definitely still a very playable experience. I've, queued up with the matchmaking server picker before to just go farming in different regions, for trying to get my matchmaking rank up before, and well, I can say that ping is definitely a very different approach to how you have to play the game. You have to play more, I want to say aggressively. You have to go for those swings, because otherwise you're just going to have, if you're playing defensively and you're just holding an angle, you're going to have that extra bit of input delay before you see the player compared to when they see you. And so it's that kind of thing that changes up how you have to play. So you have to play very aggressively, try and go for that peaker's advantage and try and use that as far as, the networking goes there. But it'll be very interesting to see if that's what we see from Forvint. We'll see maybe some more of that aggressive playstyle, but honestly, I don't know if it'll be too much different from the norm because, well, we've just seen him play so much like that anyway.
You know, kind of like he's at home on the ping form, and he had a pretty good first map, I have to say. You know, he found some good entry picks. He found, that was, I believe, that cheeky little double spray down that he got over at Apartments. Very good stuff out of Forvin. But here we go, live into map number 2, Unimelb Lorrydrivers versus UNSW Roar. Map number 2, Inferno here, and it's UNSW Roar's pick, so they get to start on the T side for this pistol.
Unimelb, now one map away from reaching that upper bracket final, hoping to continue their playoffs run and do it in absolute utmost succession. UNSW Roar hoping to challenge and bring this one around, go for the reverse sweep, of course. We'll see who exactly is going to be able to take this one away, but Viridian kicking things off with 2 massive picks over towards the B side, just jiggling back and forth with that Glock, managing to tap some heads in quick succession. The smoke to go over as well, over towards CT to try and cut off the rotate, but already 2 players still within sight, and Strit on the A side will be able to take one as well.
Yeah, it's hard to go against these USPs kind of at this range, especially with the Glock not as effective at these kind of longer range fights. Strit's perfect shot to Surquest on the cross, and will be tagged up. Viridian, though, puts the Glock to work. Strit's able to take it back, though. 3 for Strit's in this pistol. Bomb will go down, and Redav can reposition here. Over towards the short side, over towards Quad. Elder Child is going to take the fight, though, from mid. Full HP just hasn't been hit by Redav at all. And will be hitting the shot. Headshot goes to Elder Child, and first round to Unimelb.
Nice little split the way Stritz and Elder Child were able to play around and just make their way towards the site in that 2 versus 1, not letting themselves really get isolated too well there, or at least just trying to give themselves the best chance to be able to just trade off each other by having one just wrap around to that side of the site on the left-hand side, over through the archway there, over through Moto, and then getting around through Diggity as well, being able to challenge, just try to surround where the bomb went down. But Unimelb now picking up that first round will be able to pick themselves up some guns, but of course that bomb plant means extra income for the UNSW side. Kirito not too phased by it, just pushing up Carrigan style with that MP9, of course, being able to pull through, and VJack there doing the very same. Now Forvin left 1 on 4 as that buy-in from UNSW just not working out at all.
That's unfortunate, and well, that puts them a few more rounds behind in terms of the curve that they were after. Stritz to find Forvin, no save, no gun, and no nothing. UNSW Roar 0, Unimelb now 2. And you can see the P250s and the vehicles starting to flood across the UNSW Roar side, because that was an unfortunate loss to that round. M4s, Galil still kept as much money saved as possible. Unimelb starts Inferno off good, and this is kind of the boon you have for the CT side.
Yeah, Stritz, very nice with those 2 kills, just going very aggressively towards mid. Beaver looking to do the same. We'll have that double spray down with the Galil, looking for a 3rd kill, not quite able to land the shot as Redav dropped down to 9 HP, but eventually a little jiggle peek around the corner there will end the kill the way of Unimelb. Now starting things out with a very nice 3-0. Of course, only one of those rounds being buy rounds from UNSW. Now about to go for their 2nd investment here as we see the AWP come out for Viridian and the AKs to surround it. Unimelb setting themselves up early on very nicely, but UNSW also in a position to fight back. Either way, both teams certainly gunning for that spot in the upper bracket final. They'd be facing Monash either way, no matter who gets through. So it will be very interesting to see who does get to claim that position. But both of them certainly vying for it.
Vying for pick Redav. Take out Stritz. You can see, though, position towards Banana. VJack and Elder Child getting aggressive. VJack doesn't even need to go through the smoke to get the kill. Finds the first and the second. VJack looking on point right now as also quest to trade it. Bomb looks to go to B, but the other player, Forvin, memo over at A, actually able to find the pick on the Gearing, so trade back by Beaver. Bomb drops, and Forvin 72, Beaver 48, smoke. Goes to grab the AK. Does Don't have vision now of the bomb. Beaver's just going to tuck in this corner and forward. He's going to press over the wide of it. Find the headshot, and as you say, play aggressive with the ping, and Forvent does it well. First round UNSW Roar.
That and just having the read there, being able to know, okay, you know, there's a smoke here, there's definitely a good angle to just clear this out, just checking over towards that top of oranges there, and, well, what do you know, there's the player, being able to spot him out, but even as UNSW Roar do pick up that first round, of course, it is not going to be without those losses. 4 players going down means heavy reinvestment, which means the economy is still not looking great for that T side. Not really much money being left in the savings account as all these players having to buy back up. Cirquest as well, buying the MAC-10, so not having that full rifle to work with rather an SMG, but at least they've got something to show off the back of that last round, of course. Viridian being able, or rather Forvin being able to pick that one up. Viridian looking to try and support his teammate in Cirquest, pushing up over towards Banana with a quick flash forward, but overall UNSW just playing a little bit further back, a little bit calm and collected, just gaining presence very casually as they look to go for maybe an A hit as the mid round is made.
Beaver spotted. Forvin throwing that smoke for Boiler, but has to be cautious of a few players coming from mid. We'll back off, just fully aware of the situation, knows that his position good is gone, maybe a one and done angle. Beaver now towards the default box. Gibbs can walk that way, but maybe they turn their attention to arch side. Beaver with a great little headshot line towards this default box. Redavis will spot it, another player's swinging, shots are coming through. UNSW Roar aren't taking the space necessary right now to be finding one's back. Beaver on the box, Kirito in the short pit, and you can see that it's time just ticking so down to succession here, and Unimelb have got this site on lock to rotate to B with 10 seconds now on the clock. I don't think they've got it.
No, especially looking at Eli's position and VJack there as well for shutting it down. They're going to need a miracle to get that plant, but instead they're only going to find CTs. UNSW Roar just taking too long to decide ultimately what they wanted from that round there. They were just overthinking things a bit, I feel like. They had that presence over towards A. They didn't really have too much as far as the picks, but they certainly had the utility to go for it, and they had a lot of the time, but the call being made to just run back over towards the B site with barely any left. By the time they hit, they had 15 seconds to get in the site with 2 players just holding on. They could just play passively, wait for the plant, and find the kills, and that's exactly what we saw. Unimelb just having the opportunity handed to them to stop that, and basically making UNSW Roar just forcefully rush through some kind of half-hearted attempt to take the site, but not having the time to do it properly. We're going to see a bit of weaponry come out from UNSW Roar in the form of these pistols, and they're certainly going to try and take these sites with whatever they can, but only able to claim that one kill off the Beaver.
And Cirquest, bomb, smoke, deagle. 4 players to find here. You can already see Unimelb set in their way. He's got 3 over towards his A side. They're so confident that Elder Child can hold it down if Cirquest were to come that way. Of course, not really going to be happening. Cirquest over on the other side of the map. Deep of apartments. Down to the boiler. And a shot from Kirito to close it. Yoinks the deagle too. Unimelb all firing on cylinders here for this first half. CT looking great. UNSW Roar still struggling to crack it open.
Yeah, UNSW Roar not having the best of times so far, but that being said, at least they've got themselves weaponry again, and maybe they can learn their lessons from it. That last round they had guns, where maybe they'll just go for a bit of a quicker push here. We already see the early takes over towards Banana with the proxy battles by way of Util to take control there, but not really any players showing themselves out in the open, especially not those CT side players on Unimelb who are going to be backing off towards the site, just waiting for the push to come to them, waiting for the fight to only break out when necessary. UNSW Roar also just going to be playing a bit further back. They've still got those players positioned over towards Banana, now looking to get that Molotov and flash over so Gibbs can swing out safely, but ultimately just taking control still again slowly and towards both sides in this default.
You can see Slow and Steady may be winning the race this time around. Smoke flash being held here by Unimelb. You can see UNSW Roar Bombs on Redab. I have to say, he's having a rough start. You know, we spoke about Redab's performance of that last one, but currently 1-6, not where you want to see Redab on the scoreline right now. Especially if you're a UNSW Roar fan, it's just juggling the bomb over in middle for the moment. 30 seconds, Unimelb still haven't budged at all.
Yeah, haven't really made their moves so far, and that's certainly been a good thing for Unimelb. They've just been able to take their fights when necessary, and Elderchild will be able to take that one very nicely, as does VJack. 2 kills for each of those players, and only 1 in return for UNSW. Their final player, Redab, all the way on the A side, just hoping to die before time, does so, but again, just no success is being found by UNSW. They just still taking too long to go for these kinds of pushes. These slow plays definitely were, you know, it's a good approach, but I feel like you have to make that mid-round call a bit earlier. You have to have at least those 30-35 seconds at most, maybe, to be able to get a proper exec out, to be able to do things, to be able to take that site ultimately, and, well, just that time not being afforded to them as Unimelb being able to capitalize off that, and they capitalize off another kill as well by way of that Molotov. It is a trade as both VJack and Redab go down on each side, but still a 4v4 that ultimately is going to be favoring Unimelb, as they can just afford to back off of this and just wait for more fights to come their way. They've been so good at that thus far.
That's a great HE too. You see Cirquest and Gibbs down to 47 and 66 respectively. A little timing on the HE from Unimelb, and that Molly even better towards the short side. Kirito and Beaver tuck in their respective spots for this cross smoke. Default. Another smoke to Blossom. Gives Kirito a great angle. Beaver has been taken low there, just on the spam through the smoke. Roar walking up forward. Looking at fight the Beaver, and Beaver's not going to know what hit him. Stritz. Quick trade back on third quest for Kirito, playing his smoke so brilliantly, able to tag up another player, keep these T's at bay. Up here for Stritz and a great angle, perfect flick, forward falls, and Unimelb continue this streak of dominance.
I feel like UNSW need to take attack here. I think a timeout or just something to get themselves back in order, because just the way that they've been going about this, it's just been so disoriented. They haven't really been able to get those trades where necessary, but more than that, they just haven't been able to take their way onto these sites so well. They've had the utility, they've had all of that come out, but just ultimately haven't been able to take the fights together. And again, as I just said, those trades, when they go out on the side, even more important than ever, being able to account for their losses and be able to find the kills back in, because you're going to have that numbers advantage onto the CTs because they've got to split their attention between the sides. You have to go in when they're not expecting it, but instead we're just seeing such a great hold. Again, Beaver managing to get away after finding that kill there.
Yeah, just getting away with them. Free. Kirito's taking it to Beaver.
Oh.
Brilliant. Great little drive by there. Perfect spray transfer. You can see 11 HP to Stritz. Unimelb still 3 plays to resync, but this time UNSW Roar are going to get the bombs down. They've got themselves a great crossfire on the side if they're able to hold it for the Meridian. Have spotted one player towards the library. That's Elderchild jiggling, but they don't know that VJack's on the wrap right now. Forward and Meridian both looking towards Arch side, and well, shots have heard. VJack falls in the head. Angle being held by Viridian. 1 bullet a player, 1 bullet a piece. Jiggle back and forth and flick. God, Elder. Perfect discipline and precision. Able to find it close as it comes. UNSW Roar, they got the bomb down, but again, it's another round to Unimelb.
Oh, that would have been such a good play coming out from Viridian. He was up for the ace there. That was just one more kill needed. Absolutely massive stuff coming out, and definitely the fact that he wasn't able to take that round, absolutely not going to invalidate his efforts. That was a fantastic round overall from Viridian, but ultimately in the end, Eli able to take that one back and really just fight for it. Both players so low, so tagged up, it just had to be one or the other. But Viridian did a good job still trying to isolate players on each side and put himself in a great position. But that's just the way this goes, of course. You can't win every fight. As much of a good player you can be, ultimately those trades can come out. And speaking of trades, Viridian We'll be able to find one onto Kirito, just playing towards Diggity. Street's now going to have to try and hold this side off and buy some time for his teammate, but maybe he doesn't need the rotate to come through to hold it down, locking the side with 2 kills, leaving Viridian in another 1v3 situation. We'll be trying to spray away, but won't quite be able to hit the bullets. Doesn't matter, pulls out the Glock. Now we'll be able to pick up the AWP and play once again for this 1v1. It's again up against Eli on the A side. Another shot at redemption perhaps for Viridian to find the clutch here. But he's just going to bide his time. He's got 50 seconds and that smoke to play around. Eli just holding on, expecting maybe a push-up or something to come in front of him. Viridian not really having the information either. Has to stay cautious either way. 35 seconds left. Viridian, he's got to get that bomb down sometime soon. And now time elapsing him, not going to have enough to try and run back around. But Eli making noise there, that is going to be information, perhaps a critical error.
Yeah, but as you said, bomb needs to go down. Viridian's just going to take the angle and take the shot. 4K Viridian comes up clutch when UNSW need it most. Second round, finally on the board. It felt like a lifetime. Unimelb pulled us through. That was 5 straight rounds. UNSW Roar finally taking it, and you can see that so many rounds that have gone so close. Of course, Unimelb winning them out, but still, the economy's hurting. They're down to their last strands, and UNSW Roar, this is where they can make a breakthrough.
Viridian certainly hoping for that. He's been the player that's been absolutely on point so far for UNSW Roar. He's currently sitting on 12 kills, hoping to extend that further. And now his teammates start to fire up over towards the A side. All 3 players holding on to it will be just swept away. We'll get close to taking kills. Gibbs on 2 HP, Viridian on 3, but, well, that's still a bit more than 0. Of course, they are still going to be back alive in this round. No kill rewards going the way of Unimelb as they just get completely swept away. And having had so many rebuys, even as they've been able to take so many rounds, they've got no money left to go for these rebuys. And thus, B-Jack, Eli just going to be saving these 2 A1Ss and whatever armor and utility they can. Redav just going to be hopping around that CT side, but ultimately UNSW not really game to hunt. Of course, their money not too great either, so being able to get away, saving 5 guns, well, they should be able to, although Gibbs will unfortunately go down to the bomb being as low as he was. But still, saving 4 guns in that round, being able to get the bomb plant, that's a good start for UNSW to maybe start to take things back here.
And starting to take it back into their hands, and especially you want to get as many rounds as possible, potentially 7-6 going into that CT side where you could really start to do what Unimelb did to them at the start of this game. Come out with a flawless defensive hold. Redav don't really need damage, but you can see both players up the top of this B site boxes. Player in CT, of course, M4s, but those are over at A. Unfortunate call here for Unimelb, not putting 1 rifle per site. Stacking them both at 8. UNSW Roar, though, taking their time with this take.
Yeah, just biding their time. That's sort of what we've seen overall from them. They've just played patiently, and they've definitely committed to these sort of lurks as well, just having players still fight for that A side, even though the bomb is firmly committed over towards B, as are 2 more players accompanying it. Well, we will have to see what exactly will come from this. Beaver will be taking its point of first contact, and we'll be able to find a little bit of a tag onto Gibbs, but ultimately not too much damage there, only having the USPS to work with. So we'll just be trying to play back, but flashed out, and Gibbs able to absolutely wipe him out there. Kirito hoping for something with the CZ. Will be good for 2, but Redav making sure he doesn't go down. Stays alive at 15 HP and will be able to claim the kill as well. Now down to those 2 A-site players, holding on to those 2 guns to maybe try and do whatever they can as far as exits. Neither of them with a kit, but it'll be interesting to see how they can go for this.
Redav, extremely low HP. But Elder Child now, taken down to 30. Only comes out from B-Jack. Both players playing backcore at the top of this coffin. Great double stack.
Ooh.
But a headshot from B-Jack. Cirquest falls, and now it's just a forfeit. Bomb will be tapped and held, potentially by Elder Child, because Forvit doesn't have the line and has to go through the smoke, and B-Jack's going to hold it. B-Jack well played. Unimelb Lorrydrivers pick up 9 on the read's sake there. The round felt gifted to UNSW Roar. There's only 3 players with pistols and 2 with rifles. And still UNSW Roar, they lose that one.
I mean, that was just honestly an excellent retake from Elderchild and from VJack being able to play together really quite nicely in succession, taking those fights together, but also just both of them hitting some nice shots, with one player sticking the bomb, the other just holding on to that smoke, really setting themselves up for the best case scenario. And we are going to be seeing Streets as well holding out over towards mid with a very nice pick with that orb, not sticking around to get traded out, will fall back towards the side, but being able to gain those strength in numbers, be able to take out a member of the opposing team without losing one of their own. Unimelb really establishing themselves early on in this round, hoping to try and do even more if they can.
Well, he gets tossed over to Redab because got a better line to throw it, if I'm being honest. Boost up VJack. Get a teammate into better angle. VJack doesn't know if they're out just yet, so just going to toss the smoke across the dark. Bomb will be picked up by Redab, and you can see that UNSW Roar still pondering where to go, where to take, where to hit. Where's the weak point for Unimelb? But it hasn't been either side really. B, maybe. Of course, they got 2 players stacked to that position this time around. 35 seconds, and UNSW Roar will finally look to make a move towards A.
Yeah, trying to make a move here. We'll be able to get the heavy tag onto Streets down to 2 HP as now Redab swings out, finding that kill onto Kyoto. Looks to do the 180 to find the kill on a Beaver. Also won't quite be able to manage, but Viridian hoping to try and do it himself. Will find it through the box with a very nice shot. Beaver hoping to try and buy time, but instead getting shut out as his teammates come pouring in. But VJack will going a little bit preemptively, not waiting for his teammate and Elderchild to peek out. And now it's going to be 3 against 1. UNSW Raw setting themselves up perfectly with the post lane. The crossfires being absolutely tremendous as they just have all of their bases covered. And UNSW Raw do quite a fantastic job in that round, being able to take themselves now to number 4. But more than that, being able to put a bit of punishment on to that CT side economy. Now only good to buy a scout, some deagles, and just hold on to a USP as well, as Unimelb quite broke here.
Yeah, they're not looking in the most healthy of economy. Scout, a few deagles. And double, triple stack here to apartments. You can see nice little lineup on the molly here for it. Oh. Shot over the top, Elderchild with a boost, able to find the first pick here to start. Melb shows a little bit too much skin, traded quickly back by Gibbs. Unfortunate there. You know, that's not what we were expecting out of Unimelb. You know, they get that first opening pick and they back off completely. They force the Raw to come to them. But not this time.
That was just such a beautiful angle, ultimately, though. Being able to find picks like that, certainly what you want to see, I feel like. That's what Unimelb just have to be able to get done in a round like this. And, well, they're certainly doing it. Beaver able to pick one up with that scout also, as UNSW now focus their attempts in towards the B side. Going out swinging, that smoke will be there over towards CT as VJack goes down, trying to fight from the side, but will be denied anything as the bomb now gets down. 3 on 3, but of course UNSW having all of that weaponry to work with, that orb and those 2 AKs as they trying to lock down this post plant again. It's going to be Viridian hitting shots as Gibbs does too, as they clean up and now take a 5th round.
I thought that was Gibbs that did that shot. That's why I was a little bit excited, but it was just Viridian on the orb. Scoped in. 5 UNSW Raw to still 9 Unimelb. Arguably they've won the half. They've done, you know, as good as a CT side as you'd expect against a team like Raw, who definitely put the pressure on them on their map pick Mirage. And well, for the Raw now, you look to their CT side, you think about the next few rounds, how this game will shape. If the Raw are able to come out with a good start, we could be seeing a tied scoreline. Of course, we have to think to this one. Quick pick. Started off towards Banana.
I mean, you definitely have to be happy with a 9-6 advantage at the half, at the very least, I feel like, Unimelb. But that being said, You certainly can be a bit happier as well with the 10-5, and they're certainly going to try for that, as Kyoto swings out with that CZ manages one, and Beaver playing around the sandbags as well, or Elder Child rather, will be able to find that one. Beaver also finding a kill off camera on the A side. So both of those players just ultimately shutting down UNSW Roar quite nicely. Cirquest tries to walk out over towards the app's balcony, but Beaver just sitting down towards pit will have his crosshair firmly trained on it. And now it's going to be Viridian in the 1 versus 4 situation. Having the AWP to work around as well, perhaps not the most ideal weapon, as some of those players are a bit low, so might maybe look to swap it out for a rifle if he can find one, but ultimately, it's just going to be a matter of, well, finding any of these 1v1s to work around here, of course. Unimelb not really having too much info as to where this last player is either, so still having to split their efforts between the A and B sites. And Viridian maybe having an opportunity to strike, managing to walk around over through CT completely unspotted.
Player to know, Elder Child. Takes out a chicken and sprays a kangaroo.
Oh, no.
Viridian. Oh, this is going to be just a no-scope to the back. No knife. 9 seconds needs to get into the site. He needs to check for Beaver and Pitt's hard angle to check for 10 Yo Unimelb to finish the half off, and UNSW Roar. That's a lot to ask now for their CT side.
I feel like in a way the no-scope to the back was even more BM than the knife. That's just a little bit there, a little bit cheeky coming out. Of course, you know, that kill reward with the knife not being a factor when it's the last round, but still a nice attempt in the end from Viridian to try and get things done. 10-5, Unimelb, again, with a map already behind them. They won Mirage 16-12. That was their map pick, and now being able to take this lead. It will come down to their T side here and how UNSW respond, and they're responding quite strong right now, holding on to this B side as these players stay alive. Cirquest managing to tap some heads, finding those 2 players. His teammate does eventually go down, but Beaver left by himself as Viridian comes through the other side. We'll be able to clear him out and quite quickly clean up as Unimelb try to get out over towards B, but ultimately unable to get the bomb plan.
That's an unfortunate situation there. Ideally, you know, they got the bomb down and at least get the money, even if they lost the round. UNSW Roar, 4 MP9s to get themselves as financially wealthy as possible. Of course, very big kill reward for that gun, very big nade. Even down to 3 points of HP. That's the unfortunate situation. No armor, and they're almost dead on HE. That's a very good start for UNSW Roar.
Very good start for them in this round, indeed. They're trying to claw things back. They want that 3rd map. They want this to go the distance, and they want to claim themselves that spot in the upper bracket final against Monash. Unimelb, of course, have that 1 map behind them on Mirage, but that being said, it's certainly not a guarantee that they can keep this up if we see this kind of strength from UNSW Roar on the CT side of things. Well, anything is possible here. So far, UNSW looking great with finding that last round, but also holding on against the force, or I guess half by, I guess you could say, from Unimelb. They had the pistols, but not more than that. We're able to find a kill onto VJack as well, as now the T side pivots their way over towards the B site. But again, it's that low HP that could be quite a dangerous factor. That Molotov being absolutely perfect as well, and that's going to delay them so much. They try to push through, but the other side, these MP9s are just absolutely able to mow them down.
Yeah, minced them, mollied, smoked. No chance Unimelb got through. Now you can see to a bite, round number 18. UNSW Roar 3 away from closing the gap. Arguably 2, they just need to find and stave off these AKs. You need to find this round if you're UNSW Roar. Unimelb, they picked this one up. UNSW Roar forced to fight, and then we're kind of in the same scenario we were in this one. You feel Cirquest taking a little bit of early spray, 54 HP. Unimelb, they come out scot-free in that engagement. Not a single bullet landed to all too many of their players.
Just want to point out as well, Viridian sitting at 251 utility damage, 115 ADR also. again, just this player that's been absolutely just putting up numbers consistently for UNSW Roar, I think, throughout this whole season, but especially in this series also. Definitely that player that was able to kick things into gear for them when they were struggling a bit earlier on their T side. And, well, now they're very much in with a shot to try and bring things back around. Unimelb, hoping that won't be the case, of course, will try and persevere, but they lose a player early on in Stritz as they try to make their way up over towards A, but might make a mid-round call to fall back. That being said, Elderchild does find the opener, but will have to fall back after the bomb being spotted. Forvent will find a kill over towards the bottom of Banana as well, so the information very much so there for UNSW as they start to rotate a player back around, but ultimately still preparing themselves for the possibility of an A hit. It's going to be B though. Forvent still sitting back over towards Dark, 15 HP, so it could be cleared out, but Cirquest could be in a great position to help him out.
Circle's in a great spot there. Is the crossfire great? MP9, 1 HP. Cirquest able to get away to back hall and can deny his plant. If it goes down, 6 seconds go 5-4, and bomb will go down. V-Jack now to hold off Gibbs with his MP9. Not the most ideal range to be taking a fight against an MP9, but still able to win it out. Viridian with his AK taking the long range Beaver. Able to whip out the chainsaw and fight 11. Go Unimelb. You can see UNSW Roar though. Back to square one. Guns yet again in an important round.
Yeah, back to square one. They've got themselves the guns again, but Unimelb, that being said, have definitely been looking great in that last round. If they're able to just pull together the same sort of form, well, maybe we could see them make a run for that magic number of 16. Only 5 more rounds for them to go, but they lose a player early on in this one. Forvin pushing up will be able to take that fight onto Kirito, who also over-aggresses a bit over towards Banana. No teammates behind to support him on the swing. Just looking to try and take that by himself as the rest of his team sit back towards that bottom of the mid area and towards that bottom of Banana, but not really being so aggressive as of yet. Just taking control and holding on to it by way of utility and by setting a player up over towards apps. But ultimately, again, just losing that player early on does make things more difficult. It's the same sort of story. You lose those players without the trades there, and that just enables the CT side to really have to hold on without fighting for it. They can just sit back, wait for more kills to come through, just not let themselves get traded, just setting themselves up for the best possible situation.
Great bait, Stritz. Expecting that high angle being taken by UNSW Raw on the hold towards A, and well, might be looking to go that way in just a second. Redab Gibbs expecting this arch, expecting this apartments play to come through. 3 players still over at B. C. UNSW Raw have all the numbers advantage. They're not very worried about late rotates. Stritz takes out Cirquest. Spray comes through, Viridian finds them both, and that's the bomb. Elder Child, Eli falls. Redab picks it up, and 2 for Viridian, and a massive 2 to hold it down for UNSW Raw.
God, just perfect positioning coming out there from Viridian. Again, just this player that delivers so much. I think, you know, that being said, the other UNSW players, you know, don't get me wrong, absolutely excellent in their own right, but I think it's a fair assessment to say that Viridian really being the player keeping them in this one, really being the one putting in the hard work. He's currently sitting at 22 kills, and every single one of them has just been so impactful. Those rounds where he's been able to pull out so many different things. That last round in particular as well, where he's able to cut off the rotate. Just the perfect positioning at every twist and turn. Forvin as well, doing quite great, especially given his ping situation. Again, finding another kill on to Elderchild, trying to push out over towards the B site, but ultimately denied such passage. Now, Unimelb looking to try and claw back with these pistols, but it's going to be quite difficult. They have to kind of go together here, but instead they drop in numbers one by one.
Not much really Unimelb can go for, of course, stuck to these pistols and facing down all the util threat of UNSW Raw, especially with the casual 200 plus util damage from Viridian.
Just insane.
To say, absolutely insane. Not only in kills, but in util too. This man does it all. UNSW Raw right now. Stritz actually gonna, speak of the devil, find the man out in the open. V-Shack going to be taken by 4, but back site. UNSW Roar lock it down to B, but not after losing a few members. Slowly chipping away at the economy are Unimelb, and now they're to a bye once again.
And I feel like given the way that UNSW have been able to just pull together these rounds so far on the CT side, they've been able to take 4 of the rounds in the second half to the Unimelb's 1 singular round thus far. I feel like, again, around this time, maybe if this bye round is lost, maybe a tactical timeout going into the next one would be a good idea for Unimelb to just kind of mentally reset themselves and also try and take apart some of that momentum coming out from their opposition. Because, of course, UNSW have been able to build that up so much thus far on their CT side and made it quite difficult for their opposition to really find map control and really find their way back into this. We're going to see what they can do over towards A as Redav tries to find that kill onto Beaver, but will struggle with the spray there. It's going to be on Viridian instead, holding on with the AWP. Does manage one back. Maybe can go for a second kill here. Isn't traded as he finds it. Still a 4-on-4, but a lot of heavy damage being dealt to that T side. Just stuck on the other side into mid over towards A, but maybe hoping to take control over towards Moto.
You can see them stick up. Smoke to cover off the position. I'm going to wrap the site. I respect it. Get in Viridian's head. Get on top of him as soon as possible. Stop that sniper. Really hitting the shots. Towards the back of the pit, Viridian goes. The smoke covers the approach here from Unimelb. He just has the spot and jump up and decapitated by Kiritsu. Elder Child Eli comes through from the arch side. Wrap finally gives him 4-bit fall, and it's just left to Cirquest. 1v3. Hello, Beaver. And 2 other players, Eli, Kiritsu, holding a brilliant crossfire here. I don't think Cirquest can find a way into the site unless he can pick off Beaver.
It would have to be some pretty big mistakes from Unimelb ultimately to allow Cirquest back into this one. I feel like UNSW Roar, they certainly have been showing up, but in that round there, that was all the T side being able to find that. Cirquest still in a good position to find some exits, though. Might be good for, well, he's good for that one, but ultimately will get shut down as the reaction comes through. Just that one player being in towards Boiler and going down there. It's just a quick call that can be made to his teammates. Hey, he's behind us, and then the turnaround comes through. No more kills to be given up. So kind of lucky in a way that he ran with the without the rest of his team, just clearing out that angle first, even if he goes down there, because otherwise there could have been quite a spray down if he didn't look behind into Boiler. Unimelb, they did such a good job in taking control in that last round, and now as well with UNSW not having so much money, they're going to be saving what they've got into this next round, grouping up over towards B, just stacking the site as Unimelb already find their way up towards A, going for a quick rush onto the site and finding it completely clear. They will be able to get the bomb plant down once again. UNSW Roar hoping to just do some damage, find some exits with those PD-15s and that 5-7. And as well, whatever that Famous of Gibbs can do as well. Any damage is good in this round.
Ideally, Gyarados wants possible straight touch from the AWP out in the open, so the call to action. Unimelb need to hold this AWP from being picked up. You can see here's the Mac 10 from Kirito to collect the cash. The debts have been paid. Unimelb 13, UNSW Roar 9. You can see a buy here, and it's a do or die buy here too, because I feel the Raw, it's starting to slip out of their hands. They lose this round, it's 14 Unimelb. They're back to an eco, and it just gets out of hand from here.
Yeah, just get a little bit out of hand if you can't just string those rounds together. Unimelb, I mean, they've certainly faced opposition from UNSW. UNSW have been looking so good here, but Unimelb just having kind of the right string of rounds and the right opportunities presented to them in the rounds that they've been able to piece together here, and they've been able to take advantage of that. So now they certainly have themselves set up in a pathway to victory if they can clear out this next round, but Gibbs in a position to stop that from happening, manages 3 quick kills. Viridian on the other side of the site as well, set up to get that kill onto Beaver as his teammate goes down, but does not matter because Stritz is the last man standing for the T side and will only be standing with that AWP and 11 HP. There's not really much you can do when you've been reduced down to that. Maybe a save is in order. I think that's potentially what we're going to see, but there's still a lot of dead time there for UNSW to just be holding on to. Stritz really unsure of where he can face himself. He doesn't want to go down after time. That's the worst possible thing that could happen here.
Yeah, ideally. Let's keep a hold of that sniper. UNSW Roar, though, great hold. Gibbs, triple, hat trick to find Roar their 10th. As I said, a much important round. That broke the economy for the Roar if they lost that one. Unimelb, of course, their economy's still sitting very much in tip-top shape. That's why they want to keep this all up in play. They want to have to bring the sniper out to the next few rounds. Quite a costly investment.
Well, looks like Stritz will be able to hold on to it. As UNSW Roar, we see a player trying to push over towards the T side of things, but ultimately won't be able to get out enough. And Stritz, I don't even think he knew how close he just came there, because not sure, didn't catch which player it was, but being able to just almost swing out, had his crosshair in the right position as well. If he was able to swing a little bit more, would have spotted him, and Stritz was so low, but fortunately manages to save the orb. And now it can play around it with the 4 AKs as well. Ultimately a great decision to come forth. And Unimelb, maybe this will be an opportunity for them to get themselves back into this one and set themselves back up onto the victory path. But UNSW Roar have been on that path at least for the last round here, and maybe this one as well. I mean, that nade does so much damage. 3 players tagged down to that 70 HP mark, one a bit lower at 62 health as well. That's absolutely massive to kick things off.
Yeah, great bit of util placement, means the world to the Roar right now. As you can see, triple stacked A site. Unimelb just feeling out their options. I've left the bomb over towards the tunnel over in the mid. 3 players. Make approach up through the hutch side. Do they know that Viridian is lying in wait in this corner? Slowly making their way up through the smoke. Elder Child Eli hasn't spotted. Viridian has stuck away for the moment. And Kirito looking to peek on through. For the moment, just taking map control. They haven't taken a site though. Unimelb, they need to find a foothold here.
Yeah, and maybe UNSW will be the one to find proper footing instead, being able to find that 1 kill. Forvin again on the CT boost, and once more not being checked by Unimelb. We'll be able to find that 1 kill. Stritz with 1 in return, and Eli able to cut off the rotate, also leaving it to a 3-on-3, but Forvin in a great opportunity to swing out as the bomb goes down, although doesn't swing out early enough. VJack as well with a good opportunity to find that 1, but Eli already a bit further off, will be forced to run back up to stop the defuse, but Redav in great position to stop him from reapproaching. UNSW Roar in a great position there to make their way to round number 11, where they'll be able to claim it. And I don't know if you spotted that, Tony, as well, but when Viridian, he was sitting in the cubby there, and he saw that flash go forward. It was so unfortunate because the flash actually hit him, and that gave away the sound that of it hitting him, and as a result, Unimelb knew that he was there, and he got forced out. He got very lucky that he didn't get sprayed down through the smoke, and it worked out because he was able to re-emerge later in the round and do some miraculous things, but he was very close to death in that instance.
Yeah, that's just a small thing of a victory here for the Roar right now. Unimelb haven't been playing their cards right these last few rounds. It seems like they've got a little bit lost along the way to victory themselves, and the Roar, as you said, on the path here. Viridian, he's paving that one for them. 26 kills, 15 deaths, 5 assists, 5 MVP stars. 2 if you can count the MVP stars in the round. Deagles, great HE once again. Surquest and the Roar just util. Too much to answer, but great shot from Elder Child start.
And Stritz may be in a good position to spot Forvin as well, just trying to play around the smoke, but will emerge from that side. Eli as well getting a heavy tag onto Viridian. Will try and escape back towards the site. But even still, Unimelb now having set themselves up on the B site will be able to potentially get a bomb plant down, although that hasn't come through yet, as UNSW Roar will be able to approach and will spot Eli. The bomb finally does go down. Kirito Does just shoot there, I think trying to mask the sound of him dropping back down over towards Barbecue, but will get spotted visually anyway by Viridian, just jiggling back and forth over through CT as his teammates push up over by the Coffin side. Smoke onto the side as Skrit looks to play around towards Barbecue, but or rather will be playing over towards New Box, trying to hold them off. Redav just swinging all around the site, however, we'll be able to find it. And Viridian able to get on that bomb. Kit coming in handy as it ticks away. Gets, you know, it's getting very low, but ultimately that kit ensuring that the defuse will come out. And UNSW Roar now only trail behind by 1 round.
And to be fair, Unimelb shouldn't even have got that bomb down. They had very little to work with. 4 Deagles and a Scout, and they're able to get to the site and make it expensive. Raw down to slithers of economy yet again. 1 round can make or break it. Unimelb, they win this, they go 14. Raw, they find this one, they go to a tied scoreline, and Unimelb will be on the eco.
Yeah, well, I mean, that certainly wouldn't be ideal, I think, for either team having to eco right here and now. But yeah, as you said, both teams kind of in a situation where if they don't hold on to too many weapons into the next round, and if they lose it as well, yeah, that's pretty well it for their economy. They're going to have to go for a rebuy when we're seeing a scoreline of 14 or 15, depending on which team wins. So it's really not looking great for either side on that aspect of things, but Unimelb with the team, of course, the team, of course, to have themselves that 1 round advantage, certainly have a bit more to gain as well if they are able to take this one here and extend that lead even further. They're going to be executing it out onto the B side in the hopes to do it. The Molotovs, the smokes covering all entry points to the site. It's now going to be on these 2 CTs to defend. Cirquest going to be holding on. Will get a kill by his Molotov, and 4Vint there to hold him out as well as the spray lines up absolutely perfectly. It's going to be all onto Kirito. Now having to back away, almost gets taken out, the flash saving him and buying him enough time to back off with the bomb being dropped on the side. He's going to have to try and spray. Will find 2 miraculously, but nothing more than that as UNSW Roar finally catch up to their opponents and force Unimelb into a very uncomfortable situation. They have a bye here, but it's much weaker. And if they lose this one as well, it's going to be map point for UNSW Roar when they can buy up again. So they're just going to be holding on to Deagles instead.
Now we've seen what they can do with Deags, though. They are able to get to a site, get a bomb down. Viridian. Jump spot over towards the apartments. Early Molly. Early HE, early smoke. Viridian. Using all of them still early and beautiful deep spoiler. But Elder Charles doesn't expect a second in that corner. Viridian, the raid boss, that sits underneath the hut, underneath the attendant, will be taken. Road Warrior Beaver. Shot to Gibbs. Bomb down. M4 in hand. 2 players coming from mid. And the footsteps have been heard. Beaver's got all the sound cue, all the knowledge given. It's just about landing these shots. He's going to go for the swing. And Cirquest forward, take it. 14 Raw. Bomb down, and a winnable 2v1 I felt without the peak there.
I mean, even as UNSW do take that round, that is a very favourable situation for Unimelb there, because now they've got that extra income as well. They already had enough, would have had enough to buy into this round regardless. That was a given for them because they saved. But having that extra money as well, extra $800 a player, means now they've got the AWP for Beaver, now they've got full util and armor for every player, no having to compromise with maybe some Galils to get the util that they needed. UNSW Roar as well, losing some of those guns means 2 of their players won't have a buy in the next round, and will have to therefore rely on the buy to come out from some of their other players. This is a great situation for Unimelb if they're able to capitalize on it right here and now. We are going to be seeing some early damage being done onto Kirito, down to 82 HP, but still not too much of a deal breaker as the T side start to make their way up over towards the A side. They do make their presence quite known with all of that utility, and as a result, we will see some players rotating back off through B, but they're not fully committed to this yet. There is still very much the opportunity for the mid-round call to be made for that bomb to fall back off over towards Banana. But either way, Unimelb could be going for an exec on either site and have themselves a good setup for it.
See. Turn their attention back towards Banana. Checking the corners. This gives the info over to the Raw. Cirquest 4Vint once again, backside. Molly. Beaver. Poking it up with his orb. As you see, Unimelb, they're so out of sorts right now. They just don't know where to go. 35 seconds. And still not the makings of a sight take just yet. Redev able to take strits in the wallbang. That's one less player for Unimelb to go towards this A side.
One less player here as Unimelb try and make their way out. But again, it's that time. It's the fact they've taken too long to do it. With only 12 seconds left, they're pushing into this crossfire, and it's just going to be the death of all of them. Gibbs finding 3, and Redav able to strike from the other side will mean that it is now map point for UNSW Roar. And Unimelb, it's like I said, they had that opportunity in that round. They had so much there, but ultimately just weren't able to get it done. That's just so unbelievably unfortunate there. They had just such a good position to be able to take it, but they just took too long. They got way too much in their own heads for this one. Now Kirito will try and fight back as best as he can. He's burning in his own Molotov, though he doesn't realize it, and he doesn't extinguish it either. Oh my god. The Molotov. Oh, that is so unfortunate, especially at this scoreline. Oh no.
It is disastrous. The smoke was there. I felt like he probably thought that smoke had him covered, but
yeah,
it wasn't too quick enough. Molly just burned that little bit quicker, and that's disastrous for the hearts of Unimelb. So now only have to play this potential final round, outnumbered round 29. 4 players.
Difficult. And again, it's just that matter of time. A minute already down, and Unimelb having to try and come up with something here. D-Jack in a good position for a flank. Does manage 1 onto 4. Vinsu at least brings it back to a 4-on-4, but does fall down to SirQuest, aware of it, and they're in position for the trade. The Exec now coming up onto the side as Unimelb manage to get their way out, but still are unable to take out that player. Well, at the very least, get the bomb. But now 4-on-3. This has to be one hell of a post play coming out from Unimelb to save them in this map here. Otherwise, it is going to be map number 3. They'll have to fight onto this one for UNSW Roar. They're going to be pushing up, but the Molotovs in great positions there, being able to just force out these players into the duels. But the trade's still there, and the lineup for Street's perfect. Beaver, they're in position as well to recover. Will manage to stop the retake from UNSW, and now 1 round away from overtime. Unimelb, their economy's still not the best, but it is going to be enough to get them through in a bye. They don't even need 5 players on that round. They still manage it. And now 15-14, UNSW Raw hoping they can hold them off.
And it is now or never, round 30. We're going the full distance here on Inferno. It's, of course, UNSW Raw's pick. That one away from taking us to Ancient, the decider. But you can see Unimelb, they want it. They want it now.
They're hoping for it. That is what they need. Because even if you have to fight this one in OT, it's still going to be much quicker and much, you know, easier to try and take than having to reset and play another map out here when you've already got that 1 map advantage. Unimelb certainly hoping for this one. Will be going for the spray there as V-Jack takes contact. Will be 4-Vin as well, playing up over towards Oranges. Spotted out by Kirito though. Certainly a great start, but the Molotov's still doing so much damage as SirQuest holds on as well. And now Elder Child finding that 1 kill will open up that control of the site to Unimelb. It's going to be another retake situation for UNSW. 3-on-4 swapped around this time, but they're hoping to go for this one as best as they can. Flashes in, and Elder Child in such a good position. Maybe can spot this player. He does manage to do so for Viridian.
Redev, Gibbs, 2v4. 1 round, Raw need. Round that Unimelb need too. You can see the walking up Gibbs. Able to take Elder Child, and Redev's taken V-Jack. It's 2v2 now. The smoke on the bomb is going to go for the tap.
Oh no.
Stick potentially. The spray is going to come through.
Oh no.
Landon Gibbs is going to do it, man. 16-14. UNSW Raw come out by the skin of their teeth. And we go to Ancient. They take home Inferno.
Oh my god, what a way for Gibbs to be able to take that one in the end. That's unbelievable stuff. The Ninja Diffuse of all ways to secure that round for UNSW. How is that the way it is done? That is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Just being able to stick it, and that is how, by the skin of their teeth, we see the avoidance of OT, and we see a third map now coming through. Well, Inferno absolutely delivered. If anyone was watching early morning some Counter-Strike, of course, this morning, seeing that grand final of the Major, that absolutely proved that Inferno can be a fantastic map at that level. And well, this map here showing that even a University League, Inferno always delivers. Well, we're going to have Ancient for our third map, of course. We are going to be getting that one underway after a very short break, folks. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AEL University League. We are heading into a map number 3 between UNSW Roar and the Unimelb Lorrydrivers, of course. We are going to be on Ancient for this one. Tony's favorite map, of course. We do love some Ancient action, of course. A 16-12 win on Mirage, followed by a 16-14. Now both teams tied up. An absolute all-out show from both of these sides, hoping to meet Monash in the upper bracket finals, of course. Tony, how do you think this third map is going to go?
Well, if any last two, it's going to be a banger. I have to say, that was not the way I was expecting that game to go out.
Oh, yeah.
Very much. I have to give credit. I don't even remember who it was, but one of the players from Raw just sticking it in the smoke against two. There was 2 spray downs. There was 60 bullets combined between 2 players that just didn't seem to hit. And the Raw, they're thankful for that, because that's why we're on Ancient right now. And That's why the Roar have a shot at potentially winning the series out and going to face Monash.
I mean, I really honestly expected OT though. I really thought that one was going to come down to that, but in the end, not quite going to be the case. Not the way that it comes through as we see instead. Just some fantastic stuff overall from the side of Unimelb and UNSW Roar being able to just pull that one so unbelievably closely. But now, again, Ancient, it's a little bit of a curveball map. You know, it's been in the game for a fair bit now. It's, you know, not exactly just that one new map no one knows. A lot of teams have been practicing on it. We've seen it now across 2 different majors, and we've seen it picked in the major final, in 2 major finals as well, although it didn't get played at Antwerp. But that being said, still just one of those maps where teams still have these newer strategies, these new approaches, and we're seeing a lot of iterations based on that as well as to how teams are going about this. So it'll be very interesting to see how that kind of trickles down into the University League. It'll be interesting to see how we've seen a bit of it already in the group stages, Ancient, as far as Uni League goes. But now in this playoff spot, now in this map number 3, it'll be very exciting to see how both these teams are going to be fighting on this map.
Yeah, said, you know, it's been picked a lot recently, been picked up a lot recently. It's going to be a call to question how well these teams have been working together. We saw a lot of util plays. We've seen a lot of heavy investments to some of these site takes. And, you know, these teams are definitely working like a well-oiled machine. But how well does that well-oiled machine work on a map that hasn't been necessarily probably played in the Uni League?
Don't know. It could be very interesting to see. I mean, look, we have seen a bit of action in the Uni League. Particularly in those group stages. I think I do remember seeing both of these teams play a bit of Ancient before, and both of these teams still being very good at it, but it's still going to be that case of, well, you know, typically in University League, you have kind of these looser structures where you see more puggy action, I suppose. You don't see, like, a whole lot of strat build come through. You see maybe some calls being made as you have a little bit of structure, but not really the same as you'd see at these, like, higher tier, you know, professional teams, right? But that being said, still having that extra bit of structure, still having people like Viridian in the server, Forvin as well, being able to make some of those calls and be able to just pass down a fair bit of that, does make things a bit more interesting. And it'll be very interesting to see, I guess, how it goes out, because we've seen a lot of unexpected things in the server tonight across both Mirage and Inferno. And we'll have to see how that one continues onward, as just so much has come forward from both of these teams overall, making it such a close series. Probably the closest I've seen this entire season, honestly.
Yeah, this has been absolutely insane to watch. And, you know, we draw back to Viridian, as you said, a great individual player. It's a question to ask, because, of course, he's been coaching a lot recently. We've seen, you know, him not actually on the server, but just, of course, in that coach slot, helping a few teams out. And he's probably leading, you know, the side of the UNSW Roar to victory right now, because we've got players like Cirquest and Forvin that have also been playing a heavy amount in their competitive life cycle. But Viridian, you know, he's taken a step back, but he's still definitely got it, I have to say.
Yeah, well, certainly will be interesting to see how this one goes. It's a bit hard to predict, admittedly. I mean, again, players like Viridian, Forvin, who we've seen a lot on a lot of other rosters, have been quite good. But that being said, we've just seen so much raw firepower come out from the side of Unimelb, where we've seen players Eli, Kirito, Stritz, VJack, all of them, and Beaver too, so all 5 players just individually putting up such great numbers and just putting up such a good performance as well. It'll be quite interesting to see. We should be getting this one underway pretty soon, I do believe, with the ninth round, and we will be able to find out where things are starting. But of course, I want to know what your thoughts are. Of course, we are streaming this across multiple platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I've got the Twitch chat open myself, and so I want to know what you think, who you think is going to be able to take this one out. Let us know, of course, your thoughts, and who you are supporting for this one, who you think is going to be facing Monash in that upper bracket final.
Yeah, who will go on to face it? It's the team of all-stars, or the team led by rookies, Unimelb, and of course the Roar. You see, we get into an ancient. It's going to be interesting to see. Of course, Knife, as you said, we get to see where these teams, you know, where all the prac goes, as we like to allude to. Sometimes all these teams like the prac knife round strats, run boosts, some crazy stuff happening in knife round. But of course, ideally, these teams really want a specific side. Which one would that be, Two Spears?
Honestly, I feel like if you're not sure, the safest bet is to just go CT. I think that can be said pretty universally across all maps. I think we typically see, unless there's a specific reason why teams want to start off T and, you know, maybe swing things back around on the defense side. I've seen some teams, especially on Inferno, pull that out. But ultimately, I think, yeah, the CT side starts can be quite good. So, not really sure which side both of these teams will be going for. We do have 10 players in the server, so we should be getting this one ready to go. Of course, if you have been enjoying this matchup and you want to see more from the AEL University League, definitely be sure to chuck a follow to the social media accounts, of course, at AU Esports League on Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok, as well as twitch.tv/AELUni, and where you're watching this right now, if you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/AELUni2. But map number 3 is underway. It's going to be on Ancient. It's going to be hype. Both of these teams absolutely doing their utmost to bring this one through, and it's going to be starting with this knife round.
And you can already see going to be a mid knife round that is expected. Unimelb coming on top. There it goes, left, right, good night. Forward and Redev going to be winning it out. Roar get the choice of sides here to start it off, and arguably Two Speeds, as he said, CT probably going to be the one that the Roar demand.
Yeah, CT. I think that's probably where they'll want to end up, but not quite certain. Well, there it is. There's the confirmation. And it's, the UNSW Roar are going to be starting out on that CT side of things. Unimelb starting on the T side, and we're going to be seeing them just grab some of that util early. Streets with those flashes, the smoke, the decoy for Kirito as well. Just spending that extra little $50 there after buying armor. It'll be very interesting to see if that'll come into play at all, but the flashes and smoke certainly will, as we start to see the push up early over towards the B ramp. Smokes and flashes now going out for Streets, just raining them down over on the site as the push starts to come through. Eli looking to take first contact, and we'll be able to find it onto Redav.
Wraps the church here, you can see that nobody is taking any chances here for Unimelb. Straight up exec with the smokes and the flash. The bomb will go down for Streets. You can see though, hits the hands of SirQuest. Flash here for Viridian. Deep smoke towards the ramp. They can look to retake here, but there's 2 players holding in this church position. Stritz is playing so close. He's going to once again pop through the smoke. Actually takes out SirQuest, drops the defuse kit. Because Unimelb, they drop the players in the end of it. He's going to be first round pistol. Going to Unimelb. The Roar, a valiant retake attempts, but Unimelb just playing the fights with that smoke.
Yeah, just playing around it as best as possible. We'll be able to just do so much ultimately with that utility, really. And again, taking those fights, we just saw so much strength come out from Unimelb in that one. We'll see the force up come through from UNSW Roar as well. We see the two primary guns, the Scout and the MP9, are surrounded by those Deagles, and one of those Deagles will do some work taking out Eli. Gibbs hoping to find a nice shot as well with the Deagle of his own, but not quite able to get it done there. So ultimately, a little bit of damage being done, but definitely much more being dealt to UNSW Roar. Now Forvin finding that one as well. Still trading back into a 3-on-3 and picking up that gun as well. So ultimately, actually quite a lot being done by the CT side so far.
A lot being taken, a lot of space as well being taken. You can see towards the side of mid. Forward is going to be holding. All the way in T spawn. Push quite deep for this info. Smoke. Tossed out by Unimelb. The exec's still going to come through. You can see it's just going to be 2 players towards that site. And they're not even going to need the third on the lurk. It's Stritz over in spawn. All go down. Attempted. Redev trades it. MP9 in good range. Stritz through the smoke too. Great call. By Redev, and Kirito forced to swing it. Forward walks the ramp. Kirito trying to get that bomb down. Forward is going to be slow. Kirito's got no clue that Forward's up and able to find it. 1-1 go the scoreline. UNSW Roar pick up the second round.
Really nice stuff coming out overall from UNSW Roar, and we see Forvin especially being just instrumental in getting that kill towards the end, managing to pick up those two, now leading the scoreboard overall for the server with a 4-1 KD, so not too bad. Quite a fair bit of early impact coming out from that player, of course, but UNSW Roar hoping to really just set themselves up on a warpath to take a lot of early momentum, take themselves up on to these really great positions, just absolutely munch away on these players here and find themselves whatever they can. Will be able to do so with that nade and with all that damage coming through, absolutely tearing them apart. Redav going for that swing as well, just finding it all piece by piece. Absolutely looking at just so fantastic in the end. They're really staying calm, they're staying collected, they're staying hydrated, they're getting everything together.
They definitely are staying hydrated. Look at all that water there in T spawn. You can see a few players lapping it up. And UNSW Raw coming out the 1-round lead after losing Pistol. Not what we've seen from this series so far. Normally it's Pistol into the second, into a potential third. But yeah, times are changing. Different map ahead of us. You can see taking the take towards A this time around. Really curious. So outside of the hallway, it's an angle to be taking. Red of Viridian finding a few quick picks, and they're all just getting more aggressive as the rounds progress. They can sense that Unimelb maybe not as comfortable to start this T side off. Beaver shot from the AK of 4, went down to 16. Jack, what can he do?
What can he do? Well, he can take control over towards Church and maybe try and play out over towards the site. Just waiting for his teammates to maybe try and get in, rotate towards that position. 40 seconds left for the T side as they attempt to take control. Redav going to be hearing those footsteps and using that smoke to set himself up for a good position as Viridian covers his back as well. The push coming through, but the lineup being so perfect. Viridian managing to find those two, and Redav going for the swing will be able to confront VJack, take that one out. And now with the 3-1 record, UNSW Roar holding on to that lead in this map number 3, of course, and the one that really counts. They're looking for this reverse sweep after all. They lost that map to Unimelb in that first map of Mirage, but they're looking to just strike back, and so far they're doing quite a good job of it, at least establishing themselves very early on in this first half.
They're looking to do it very quickly. Unimelb pistols this time around, looking to take some mid control, but you can see the angles that they held are far angles at that. Viridian getting a few shots off on the street. Short side being Pete's. Land's good, but the shot land's better. Viridian able to pick up his 6th kill of the game so far. 7 down, range at lower mid. Finds Beaver, Forvent finds Kiritso, and it's a 22 HP Eli just outside of B, just outside of short. Deagle in hand, Redev walking through the situations, and Eli's not going to expect it, none the wiser. UNSW Roar at 4.
4-1, not too shabby as far as the record starts, just looking so good as they continue away, getting forward as best as they can. Well, we'll see what kind of crunch they're able to show, of course, what kind of bite they have as they just pull out all of the stops here, but Cirquest will be taken away instead. Beaver finding that one and hoping to find some more damage as well for the side of Unimelb as Elder Child throws that HE out, but not quite going to be able to land too much on target. That spray, however, will. Gibbs falling down as the smoke clears, but Viridian still just able to play back, jumping away into the corner as well, managing to find 2, but Kirito finally there for the trade, making it a 2-on-2, and will push up to catch off the rotate as well as Unimelb pulls that round together and absolutely shows up in full force. UNSW Roar just torn apart, absolutely.
Torn apart, but you know, it's around a stepping stone in the cornerstone of light that UNSW Roar have right now, because they're straight back to a buy AWP for Viridian this time around, and double mollies, set exec nades here down towards the middle, taking so much control of the map and denying it from Unimelb. Unimelb was being drowned out of this early position. Forced to maybe take some under aggressive fight short side just outside of church. So quest will fall to Eli, and again a strong start for Unimelb in this round.
Yeah, not too shabby so far from Unimelb, and Viridian able to pick up another kill as well onto Stritz, so looking quite strong getting that one done. Elder Child finding one more also as Kirito picks up another straggler, just trying to push up a little bit, but we'll be able to take that control over towards Donut, whether they'll then be able to get their way towards the site. Only one player still sitting on it will be Forvin. Viridian still focused with that AWP over towards the B side of things, so bit of a split division of attention for UNSW Roar, or the last two players left remaining of it. Viridian in a great position, watching that push from mid, will be able to catch the angle on into Kirito, and Forvin finding one, make that two as well. Now the tide's certainly turning, the bomb being dropped down, but Beaver will make sure to find that kill as Forvin is looking the wrong way. The Molotov as well, great for holding off Viridian, but will push through regardless. We'll get spotted out, or heard rather, but manages to find the kill anyway. Just flicking that all back and forth. Just so well done. As Viridian already showing up in full force early on. 12-3 right now.
Yeah, Viridian. I don't know why he left the server. He's still got it. Coach, he coach buff. I don't know. UNSW Roar are on one for this last map, I have to say. Viridian's leading the charge once again. We saw it on Inferno. It was, I believe, 26 or something. That man finished it off and continues to roll it through to this final map. You can see a tactical for once. That's our first of the series here. It's only being taken in map 3 by UNSW Roar, who just won a round.
UNSW Roar, they might have their coach, or it might have a coach in the server, but he's also a fragger. Viridian Eddie absolutely just showing up again, showing just how good he can be at Counter-Strike, and showing just what a performance he can pull up, and hoping for some more as well, as Unimelb look to focus their attention over towards the A side of things, also putting a little bit over towards mid, but not fully committing there either. Not really fully committing to anything at the moment, actually, as they mostly just try and do what they can with these pistols, find map control where it suits them. This time it's going to be over towards the A long approach, as we see Kirito alongside two other teammates just holding back, but still waiting for the push to come through. He readies a flash, maybe ready to exec out onto the site, or at least just hope to try and find a kill there, but ultimately the bomb can be backing away, as perhaps a B hot hit is on the cards instead.
The child's up through church. You can see Sir Quest. Very molly. Gibbs as well. Nice church swing for the moment. In 40 seconds, Unimelb can take this B site. It is covered with smoke. And the Roar can't do anything about it for the moment. They can't see any of these players coming through. Actually, Estelle Elias, the boost to come through. Right over it takes Beaver down towards lower mid, and it's going to be the plant for Stritz. Able to secure the money from that. Sir Quest spotted. Just close to spawn. VJack is going to walk and grab that gun as soon as possible. Stritz behind pillar. A few leg shots to Viridian. VJack has picked up that AE1. 4 for Gibbs. Great hold. 6 on the read sake. UNSW Roar not slouching here in this first half.
Yeah, not at all. They've been absolutely just showing up. I mean, largely Viridian, but also Redav as well now, sitting at that 9-5 KD and 8-3 for Forvin. Overall, the team just working together as quite a cohesive unit, working, just doing their absolute utmost to lock down these sites. And well, I mean, that score at the top right now certainly showing that out of 8 rounds, 6 of them they've been successful in doing so. But now we're heading on to round number 9, and we are going to be seeing Unimelb with the buy-up again, and this time with the AWP again for Stritz, who, you know, we've seen that he can be potentially quite the threat with that when he's got that scoped big green in his hands. He certainly can do quite a lot of damage to his opponents. We'll have to see if he can strike in this round as the remainder of Unimelb also attempt to do the same. Gibbs looking to try and take some damage over towards Church where it's smoked out, but does throw that HE forward. Not quite going to do too much. Beaver throwing that Molotov as well as he attempts to just clear out these angles towards mid. Viridian just falling back for the most part over as the lone mid defender. But ultimately, it's going to be Gibbs who wanders a little bit too far astray and will get shut out.
Yeah, that was a great pickup there to Gibbs and Church. You can see Red towards Donut. Going to be taken down to 41. It's through Cirquest. Still waiting these plays to come through. It's 30-something seconds. They haven't walked through ramp just yet. Cirquest spotted. One Red wasn't expecting Bieber to pick him. Donut, and you can see just saved Kirit, so takes out Viridian. And it's now up to the man on the other side of the world, it would seem, in this reinstinct. Bieber can be spotted, traded by Eli. Third round for the Unimelb Lorrydrivers. And you can see UNSW Roar, that's broken the economy. A few of them can buy, but it's not going to be the healthiest, I feel.
Yeah, not potentially the greatest buy, of course, when you've got a player with no rifle whatsoever, plus a FAMAS in the mix, and really not much utility at all. I mean, 2 smokes, 2 flashes across 5 players, and no damaging utility at all, no Molotovs, no HEs. It's definitely not your ideal setup on the CT side, but again, those are just the constraints of the CT economy. You lose a couple rounds there. You know, those rifles cost a bit more to buy than on the T side. You have a little bit of that lesser income. It's just that sort of thing you have to contend with. But still, UNSW Roar, at least if they're going to be dealing with money issues, they're at least going to have a few rounds ahead of them before things start to get worrying. We are going to be seeing that Molotov come through from Unimelb as they attempt to clear out over towards Church, where the crossfire is played, but because of that Molotov, the swing won't come off the back of that flash, and Viridian is able to capitalize with the 1 kill. Gibbs stopping the trade from coming through. Viridian tagged down 5 HP, but will manage to stay alive, as now that's 2 great picks for the CT side.
Great picks. Kiritsu answers it back. You can see Red Over has been taken. Viridian 5 HP, 5-7. Isn't going to fare too well against Kirit, so Stritz also taking out Gibbs. You can see the attention once again to be Cirquest caught in that corner, taken out by Stritz, and the sights opened up. 20 seconds, and Forvit's on the long rotate round through the spawn side. Will look to come to ramp. They're cautious of Church. They also have to be cautious of spawn, because their spawn is where Forvit looks to come from. You can see Kirito's got it on lock. Stritz, great crossfire here. Nothing really Forvit can do to look to walk to it. Spray will come through. Kirito to collect it. And Unimelb, they play a funky beat for that one. And they pick themselves up a 4th.
Another round for Unimelb as they hope to close this gap. Viridian still sitting at the top of the scoreboard, 13-5, but we're also seeing Kirito fire up on the Unimelb side now with 11 kills of his own. And UNSW Roar hoping to maybe try and hold on to this lead, but of course still having it themselves on that eco. It's not quite going to be easy to go for this round, but still they do find some damage, especially Gibbs with that Deagle raining down upon these T-side players. Beamer forced to reload as well will prompt the swing coming out from Forvin, as now it's all left onto Elder Child, but he's not left alive for very long. We see UNSW Roar surprisingly able to just pick up so many kills in that round and take that one away so well. And more than that, they're able to save 3 AKs also. That's such a fantastic result.
I'm still in shambles at what just happened. Beautiful
Yeah.
shots from Gibbs. I have to say, Gibbs perfect eagle discipline, and well, you can't really count Roar out on an eco, it would seem. Unimelb able to find the opening pick. Cirquest getting a bit aggressive, getting a bit antsy after last round victory. You can see so many players getting aggressive over towards the UNSW side. Elder, Child, that gives forward in this smoke. On the other side of it, Stritz takes the shot, and Redev 88 HP to 1v4. Unimelb could be finding themselves a fifth.
Potentially. I mean, that's what they're hoping for. Redav still just sitting alive, but ultimately no possible pathway back into this one. Just will be sitting back with that A1S. And, you know, that off the back of how well that last round went for the CT side, that's definitely not how they wanted this one to go. That last round, they had Deagles to work with and everything in that regard, sure, but this time around, they had pretty much everything they needed. Again, they saved those 3 AKs from the round prior, and, well, that is why they're not going broke into this next round, because 3 of their players didn't have to buy just then. But it's still a bit of a difficult round when you see that come out, when they have everything there, and they're only able to pick up 1 kill on Beaver, and the remainder of the players still left alive. Not necessarily what you want to be seeing, but Unimelb, of course, not really giving much of a choice. They were just looking so strong in that last round, where they were finding pretty well everything they needed to just put themselves on the board there. Now 7-5, UNSW Roar on the precipice of being able to claim the advantage at the half, but Unimelb hoping to deny them that and hoping to maybe strike back even further, closing this gap up once more. Only 2 rounds away from doing so.
The Elder Child able to take out Gibbs early on. Great start once again. Unimelb really playing with fire in these last few rounds of the half. You can see attempted wallbangs coming through for Stritz too with Yorp. UNSW Roar have to be kind of scared of the potential here for Unimelb. Tossed over. Oh, VJack. He re-picks it up. Okay, never mind. Yeah, no, VJack's decided to take it himself. Thought it was throwing it over to Kirito to wind up. Elder Child. Back of B, the church. Take it. VJack finding Meridian forward. Once again, the same angle, actually able to find a kill this time. Traded Beaver and Redev, and we'll find it. Unimelb goes 6. Continue to even up this first half.
And more than that as well, it's the fact that Unimelb are only 1 round away from tying things up, but UNSW, again, in that difficult buy position where they just haven't been able to get themselves on the board, and they haven't really had the damage as well. I think Cirquest, who, you know, was definitely firing up a fair bit in those last rounds, maybe not the top player there, because you'd say Viridian has been very consistently holding on to that over all 3 maps thus far, but I would at least be hoping that Cirquest can fire up a bit more. He's currently sitting at 3-11 right now, KD-wise, and, you know, we're just kind of hoping to see that perhaps we get a little bit more impact there, because I think ultimately it's been that, and it's been the fact that UNSW just kind of fell by the wayside when Unimelb have had these kind of quick approach rounds when they've been going for these fast plays and just taking control so rapidly that the CT side almost hasn't been able to keep up, hasn't been able to react quick enough to be able to respond dynamically like that. But Unimelb, they're hoping to punish the CTs once more as they've got this buy up. They're going to be taking control over towards mid and looking to try and get out to one of these sites.
See, press the puppy to fit the VJack. Something he wasn't expecting. Had the life shake out of him. Eldest Child over to the church. Finding Cirquest and Redev back in return. Viridian forward. Pistols of their own. Gonna do something miracles. They'll be sprayed down by Curate, so holding an angle. Tied up, goes the first half, 7-7. Unimelb brought it all the way back.
I mean, they've definitely looked like they've been on track to, that's for sure. They've shown themselves to be just quite these strong players, of course, in the last few rounds. They've been able to just pull together quite these strong takes towards these sites ultimately, and being able to find openers like that. And UNSW Roar have been being a little bit scared, and now having to play a little bit more aggressively and take those fights first. And we see that over towards Long with the Redive, finding that kill on it to Beaver. That's certainly a great opener, and being able to fall back off and avoid being traded out as well. That's the start you want. That's the start that UNSW Roar have been hoping for. They just need to carry things from there and keep swinging them into their favor. Minute 17 for Unimelb as they look to try and reapproach the site, try and bounce back from that loss of the player early on. We see VJack try and throw that Molotov, I think, hoping to aim that towards the back box, but does bounce off a bit of geometry there and lands right in front of him instead.
A missed opportunity. Has to come out for Torvin. Over at that ASAP teammate. UNSW Roar playing in pairs or trios. Playing together, it would seem, for the moment. They've noticed that Unimelb have been picking them off when they play individually. And individually, they all start to group up over towards this B site. Unimelb haven't been hitting A a whole lot.
Yeah, they haven't really, have they? They've kind of just mostly left it to the B site, and I feel like that's just because it's more comfortable to be able to take the site. You only have to throw those two smokes to be able to gain a lot of control here, and, well, that's exactly what they've done. They've been able to find themselves an entry onto the site, although they do lose another player, so now 3-on-4, it's going to be a bit difficult to hold in the post plant. Now with only 2 players, Viridian strikes back. We'll get traded out by Elder Child, but he's left alive on just 4 HP, so it's a 2 versus 3 situation, not exactly being ideal, but Kirito in a great position to find spray transfer onto both of these players. Now it makes it a 1-on-1 as Forvin does find another player, but will have to play around the time on this bomb. Will continue sticking, but Kirito not spraying in the right position, just keeps holding on. If he had a kit, would have been done, but ultimately not having it gives Kirito the opportunity to go for the swing out and to find that kill in the end. And Unimelb only narrowly are able to pull ahead at the end of that half, 8-7.
Yeah, 8-7 after it was a 6-2 in favor of the UNSW Roar, and now they're to the T side, and Unimelb feeling comfortable maybe going on to the CT side. They can hold as well as they can hit, and well, for the Roar, it's about how they can hit as well as they can hold. You see Viridian, double flash and a smoke. He's set up a lot of util for his teammates to take mid control. Stritz holding just outside of church, looking to peek through it. You can see that Unimelb, they've put a lot of players over towards this side early on.
Yeah, they certainly have, and, well, kind of see why. I mean, ultimately, the push coming through there, kind of just gamble sacking one side or the other and then playing for the retake, definitely is a viable option in a pistol round like this one, especially on Ancient, where the rotate times are very quick. But, of course, UNSW Roar doesn't really matter. That entire effort will be invalidated if they just entry out onto the stacked side anyway and find all of the kills, and that's pretty much what they've done, in all honesty. Now only 3-on-2. It's going to be UNSW Roar just holding on to the post plant, waiting for the CTs to push right into them, and just as expected, that will indeed come to fruition. Unimelb unable to find any more kills into the round as T-side are able to pull ahead and tie things back up 8-8, but more than that, they've got so much money to work with here as well against what is ultimately just going to be a team of USPs hoping to rush down towards B with Heishi in a flash, but that's pretty well going to be all that comes from this CT side. The bomb still on the A side of things, might be able to just push up towards the side.
I was about to say, interestingly enough, 3 players opting for the MAC-10s here for the UNSW Raw, wanting to get as much money on their board as possible as well, with the plant smoke to cover. Gives place in that one down, but Kirito, oh sorry, Beaver. Kirito's on the flank, he's coming to Donut, he's taking Cirquest. It's a hefty round being done by just USPs here for Unimelb. One will be planted in a little bit more of a different position this time. 30 HP and an AK. Kirito to save, and UNSW Roar, they kind of have to hunt after us.
Certainly hoping that they can hunt around this one, but Kirito, if he's able to get away with the AK, of course, it would be quite a good thing for Unimelb, being able to just at least have a extra rifle to go into the next buy round with. Again, just building up that savings and not having to buy an extra A1S or A4 there, but UNSW Roar seemingly will let that happen, as Kirito not going to be challenged by any of these T-side players hunting too far. They will go a little bit towards that CT side and towards B, but not really so actively seeking it, and probably for the fear of losing their own weapons, of course. UNSW Roar now able to claim the advantage 9-8, finally in the lead for I believe the first time in this map, and they're looking to try and take that lead all the way back and hit that double digits first, go as far as they can. They're really gunning for this reverse sweep to come through. They lost that round number 1 of Mirage, but they were able to take things back around in that nail-biting 16-14 on Inferno. And they're hoping off the back of that momentum they built up from that map that they can just continue this onward here on Ancient. And they've been doing such a good job of it thus far.
Yeah, I have to say, definitely been picking it back up piece by piece. You know, they dropped a lot of them on Inferno. I'm sorry, on Mirage. And they're able to bring it back on Inferno. 1 round in the lead here. Could stem to many more if Unimelb to drop this one. Could go 10. The Roar make 11. And then another buy. Smoke down. Gibbs takes out V-Jack on the entry. And then look at a wrap onto the A site. This is not a usual play we're used to seeing, especially Kirito hitting some bang-on shots. Beaver catches out Meridian, catches out Gibbs, and look at 4-2, why not? Beautiful triple for Beaver. And as I was saying, it was potential for the Roar. It's potential now for Unimelb.
I mean, it's up for grabs for either team, really. Again, 9-9, tied up now again. This series has been close as ever. Both of these teams, honestly, are in such a good position to try and take this slot. We will see who will be able to do so, of course. Whoever wins this map will be able to take the series and take that upper bracket final slot versus Monash for that series. Will be quite interesting to see how that best of 3 unfolds. But I think either side, they've proved that they can be deserving, and they just need to get themselves over the line here. So taking this round certainly would be a pivotal point to do so. Both teams on a bye round, but both teams not having the greatest of economy, particularly the UNSW side not having too much in their savings accounts. But Unimelb also having a bit less as well, so I think both sides would be pretty well forced into an eco if they lose this one. Minute 5 left and UNSW Roar, they're going to be trying to approach that A side of things, just walking their way up over towards Long. On the other side, it's going to be Kirito left to try and defend, playing behind the box. We'll go for the swing, but Meridian strikes first with Yorp, and will maybe spot a second player over towards CT as well, but doesn't quite get the opportunity to hit the shot. Beaver looking to try and maneuver back and forth, does spot the player planting, but didn't have his gun out to stop it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, pulled out the molly, thinking it was the better play. And Unimelb 3v4 to the retake, and you can see how close together UNSW Roar are playing. Great shot from Gibbs with the Scaleel, and you can say that it might be done before it even starts. Beaver, though, an elder child, going to be taken by Sirquest and Viridian. 10 go the Roar, and down goes the money down the drain of the Unimelb Lorrydrivers.
Well, UNSW Roar going to be trying to hold on to that lead. And again, as you said, with the money going down the drain for the Lorrydrivers, they've certainly got a good opportunity to do so. Kirito, a little bit cheeky here, has pushed his way up over towards Long, and he's got a Zeus as well in his back pocket. Stritz will also try and push up from the other side over towards the mid, but will get shut down with a close range AWP from Viridian. We'll also see the push come out from the T side over towards B as they start to unfold onto the site. V-Jack will try and swap out his pistol for a Deagle, but will get shut down. Beaver, on the other hand, will be able to find the kill onto Forvin. but will also get taken out of the round as well. Now Kirito left 1 versus 4. We'll try to reapproach and maybe try and surprise. That Zeus kill certainly could be on the cards, of course. Viridian does spot the player, but Kirito does try and charge up with it in hands, but Viridian will not allow the Zeus to come forward. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of laughter in the chat or something about that, because definitely trying to go for that BM play there, but ultimately not working out, as Viridian does survive that and manages to take his team to round number 11.
Round number 11 and getting closer to rifle rounds. They feel break this one for the Roar. They find match point, if that were the case. Unimelb still fighting Chance. Stritz on the AWP. Look to make some good presence be known. You can see Kirito once again on this jump position, a box, and the Roar have situated themselves for the site take once again. And Kirito going to be wrapping around the site, wrapping around the boxes. Puts himself in a better position over towards Small with the headshot. AEL by the A1S. It's a quick trade by Forvin. That's one back by Beaver over in Donut. On down this A site, finally smoked off. The bomb will go down in the Roar. Well, they got close point.
Good little pick as well coming from Viridian. Certainly, you know, a little bit of a slim angle there over towards CT from where he was looking, but still manages to use it to his advantage to find that kill. We see Cirquest as well, just sitting on this other side, just waiting for the push to come through from Ruins. As now, Beaver as well will sit through and will try and get forth, but Viridian just so sharp with that AWP. Just peeking out left and right, hitting every shot coming his way, every CT coming towards the site, completely shut out of it, as Viridian now finding himself on 28 kills in 21 rounds. Just an absolutely huge performance. I'm going to check his ADR as well. 152 with 220 utility damage. I mean, that just says it all, really. He's been that player, that high-impact fragger for UNSW Roar this entire series, and just because it's getting late into that number 3 does not mean he's letting that up.
Yeah, just never letting up, ever relentless is Viridian. He's going to be looking for an early peak, though. We traded by 4 of it. Aggressive B take. This time for the side of UNSW Roar. Now set themselves up a plant and they've got themselves a good position. 4-bit though. Going to be taken by Beaver. Quick trade back by Viridian. Tosses out the AWP for an 8k. Rifle's a little bit better in a situation like this. The players coming from mid. Going to be held down by Viridian. Just Stritz and will be taken. Cirquest finds it 13 to the Roar. Back to a bye. Go Unimelb for this 14th potential. Round number 23.
Round 23. Well, UNSW Roar have established themselves very, very much so in the last few rounds, but of course Unimelb, they've had inconsistent buys over the last few. Now they've got themselves the double AWP setup. Stritz and Beaver both taking on the big green, hoping to do some damage with it, as we see the A1Ss surrounding that. A good amount of util as well, not as much as you'd hope, although some of it did go out early, of course, so, you know, what we're seeing just being held at the moment on the players not indicative of what they entered the round with. But that being said, Unimelb certainly using that to try and establish some of the early control that we've seen so far, just getting those players up into good angles, but ultimately not overextending. Likewise can be said about UNSW Roar, just playing very passively back over towards B, knowing that their opponents have, in previous rounds, overextended a lot here to try and find early picks, but therefore they're going to be cautious about that.
They're going to have to be extremely cautious how they take these next few moments. High flashes. Over to be sight, looking to run it up through the ramp. Gives Jack Forvin able to trade it back and storm the site. Beaver's taking Viridian and the spray comes through the swing from Elder Child. And it's a third. Elder Child takes Cirquest 10. Go Unimelb and the Roar. Well, they still have the money to buy, but so do Unimelb. The money, not an issue now for either of these sides. Both have pretty sizable economy build.
Yeah, honestly, both of these teams definitely getting back up in that money factor, although UNSW Roar only have one player that will be able to buy in the next round should they lose, and if they lose those guns as well, it could be not ideal, to say the very least, for that team. But that being said, they've got those 3 rounds ahead of them so far, so they're still definitely in the better position. We are seeing that double AWP setup continue for the Unimelb Lorrydrivers, being able to just hold it onto Stritz and Beaver, which, I mean, they've only done it in the last round, but it definitely did work out. It definitely could continue to work out, that is for sure. Now we are going to be seeing the flashes come through over towards that mid area where Forvin will be looking to swing out first alongside the rest of his team. Unimelb, despite having those 2 AWPs, won't actually have one actively holding on to mid there. Instead, only having the A1S of Elderchild playing back over towards that upper mid angle, where he will be falling back off using the cover of that smoke. That's a lot of map control being handed over to the UNSW Roar early on.
It's very interesting that give it up. Oh, bed a second. Viridian falls. That's the shots you want to land right now. Strips with another on to Gibbs, and they're just walking into the haymakers that Unimelb are throwing their direction. Cirquest only 13 HP. Scopes up. Stunning performance from Unimelb. They shut down the A taken. I can see why nobody wants to go A on this map. It's hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's certainly something that can be quite... You really just need a lot of util to be able to get out of it, I feel, ultimately. You need to have those flashes raining down on the site. You need to just clear out all those corners. You need those smokes, those molotovs. There's a lot of effort required to be able to take that A site. And I think you can say the same about the B site, but it's ultimately a bit simpler. But there's also ultimately just those 2 choke points that the CTs can hold on to and use utility to hold off as well. There's definitely advantages and weaknesses to both sides, of course. But it will be B where we see the fighting take place. Unimelb ultimately holding on against this mostly eco round from UNSW, just having those pistols. But they do manage to get that plant, which is definitely the important factor to have. Unimelb do a good job holding on, but they do lose those 2 players. Not going to be too big of a deal in all honesty. Both of the players that died have enough money to rebuy themselves and still have some remaining as well. So ultimately could be far worse. But UNSW Roar, having that extra money on top of what they saved, means they'll be able to get themselves an AWP in the hands of Viridian, which of course is always going to be something to look out for. And all the players surrounding them as well with fully equipped rifles.
Yeah, back Viridian on the AWP, especially the 31 kills, making 32 straights. Already eviscerated in the blink of an eye. Snapped fingers by Viridian. As they look to take B site once again. They have left the bomb outside of the site for the moment. In a very safe position towards ruins. Only comes through. Leon might launch through. Redev corrects himself on the spray. Finds the kill to be Jack. Peek through the smoke. Cirquest traded back. Unimelb aren't going down without a fight just yet. Early picks go Roar's way, but Unimelb found a few of their own.
Yeah, finding a few of their own indeed. Unimelb, they lose those players, but they definitely aren't going to be losing that spirit, and they're also not going to be losing their double AWP setup as we see Elderchild trade out that rifle for the AWP there. So it would be very interesting to see how this works out for that CT side. UNSW Roar also playing this rather carefully and collected. Even though they've got that numbers advantage, they still don't want to lose it here. And now pushing up on towards the B side, they will spot Eli out and will be able to take the fight quite well as well. Although not having any smokes to work around does make things a little bit more difficult. That Molotov definitely was threatening to burn up Viridian there, but fortunately he finds a good position to plant that bomb down as Gibbs goes for the swing and the spray onto CT, and will be able to find absolutely everything in quick succession. Now UNSW Roar really setting themselves up to take their way through the home stretch. Now on 14 rounds, only 2 more to go to take the series and take that upper bracket final spot. Unimelb Lorrydrivers, they've got the buy up here, but it could be their last for a while. They have to make this one count.
Yeah, you can see the side of UNSW Roar, they've got kind of a sizable cash stack in their back pocket, spread over around 4K, feel them around that 2.5 mark, and for Unimelb, a lot of zeros, a lot of 50s, a lot of hundreds sitting there. They can't afford to drop this round. They find 15 for the Roar. It's more than assuredly going to be lights out. Some crazy things on Eco. It's going to be the bomb tossed over. B side once again for the side of the Roar. Going to be Forvent on the lurk. Making all the noise possible, potentially, maybe. The rotate's drawn. Shot missed by Viridian. That's an uncharacter-like miss from him. Seen him hit them all this game so far, in this series so far. 50 seconds, the wrap back to A, where Forvent is lying in wait for the opportunity to pounce.
Looking to strike here, Elder Child will be the one to do it instead as Viridian tries to escape back from B and meet his teammates over towards A, but he'll try to rotate around and will get spotted instead. Forvent tries to exit onto the side, but Kirito will be there to take him out. Gibbs there for the very quick trade as Cirquest arrives as well, but ultimately the numbers of UNSW dwindling. Beaver holding on 2 with that AWP, and Stritz managing that final kill onto Redav will ensure that UNSW Roar are not allowed another plant, not allowed to take 15 either, and set themselves up for the post plant in an opportunity to do so. Unimelb Lorrydrivers, I said it before the round, but that was a do or die one for them, and they certainly came alive when it was needed. Now they've got themselves secured a buy, but more than that, they've absolutely destroyed the economy of the T side. They just won't have enough money to buy up after this, so it certainly could be quite difficult for them. And as they lose 2 of these players, 2 for 1 coming out as the Molotov does do some form of a trade there, ultimately, it's definitely looking quite scary for that T side.
That's not what you want to see to start this one off if you're the side of the Roar. As we look to go at not even a minute into this round, Tuesdays, and already on the back foot. They've lost Gibbs and Cirquest, and they've lost a heavy amount of util. Could have been potentially used here. Unimelb have got it on lock for the moment.
Oh,
beautiful shot from Forvent. Out through house and out through the back of Spawn comes Forvent to the back of B. And Stritz, Elder Child, they're going to be cautious. Stritz has turned attention to the tuck in perfect spot. Roar have found an opening to the B site. Smoke off church, but they haven't dealt with Elder Child. Finds Red Ave. Viridian City and Forvent versus Kirito. 30 seconds to get that bomb down. Get themselves in as safe a position as possible.
Not too bad coming out there. Forvent really being ultimately the round decider there, potentially. That is, unless Kirito can find this extra kill back as well. Does manage one on to Viridian, but Forvent with some excellent positioning manages to catch him without his gun out, gets the heavy tag, and does manage the kill as well. Forvent with the 4K to take UNSW Roar now onto series point, and just look at the money for the Lorrydrivers. They're going to have to force up here with whatever they can muster, maybe some MP9s, maybe some pistols in the mix, but definitely not a full buy by any means. It definitely would be a miracle for them to pull through with this one. But that being said, what we've seen from their pistols before, perhaps a miracle is on the cards. UNSW Roar hoping not. They want to take this one here and now, 1 round away from claiming the series.
You know what I call that, Forvent? 4K, 100 ping buff. Cirquest takes out Kirito there on the entry to the potential A site take that Roar is setting up right now. You can see just really buying their time though. Elder Child are able to take out Redev, and that's what Unimelb want right now. They want guns, they want to take kills away. But 2 left, it's Stritz and Beaver. Beaver all the way deeper spawn. And Stritz nowhere near this A site. Gibbs just taking shot after shot, somehow able to live with 4 HP. It's up to Stritz. 1v4 walking through the back hall. Gibbs to meet on the other side, and Gibbs to land a shot. 16 to 13. The Roar complete the reverse sweep and they will be moving on to the upper bracket finals. Sorry, face down Monash.
What an absolutely ridiculous series. Definitely one of the closest ones we've seen in the AEL University League this season. Both teams definitely going for that slot. Definitely looking to try and make their finals run go through as best as they could. Unfortunately, though, only one team could take it away, and it was going to be UNSW Roar in the end, with that last map finally going their way. But what a well-fought battle from both sides, of course. Unimelb definitely showing that they had what it took to definitely pressure this team, push them to all three maps, and push them in each map individually, showing so much strength, so much from them. It's just been so fantastic to see this level of competition come out from the University League. I feel like every season, you know, we come back for this, Tony. It's like these teams just get better and better. The level of competition, it just rises and rises, and it's really quite amazing to see. We've seen so many of these opportunities being granted to these players, and these players certainly seizing them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see as well a few of these more experienced players coming through and, you know, repping and leading these kind of uni league teams through that kind of competitive level of Counter-Strike that maybe a few of these players aren't quite used to having. And, you know, it's always a treat to watch. And of course, we saw a treat out of Iridian this evening. 30-something kills on
32.
that final, 32 on that map
Yep.
of Ancient. An absolute demon in the server. One would wonder why he left to go coach, but you can't really blame it at the end of the day. Sometimes the coach life's a little bit more cruisier than that of the players, and I have to give props. Raw pulling off the reverse sweep against such a strong look Unimelb in that first map. Props to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, props to the players, props to everyone who was in the server tonight for putting on an absolutely fantastic show, but we've also got some props to give to our lovely, lovely sponsors. So, Tony, would you take it away, please?
Of course, we're going to thank our lovely sponsors, Predator, AOC, and RIG. Predator, conquer new worlds. Predator Gaming today, of course, you can get yourself a Predator Gaming PC, and they put power and precision in the hands. Of course, sponsoring the AEL University League. AOC, we've got a brand new monitor, the first ever monitor crafted for League of Legends specifically, of course, represented in every aspect. The iconic Hextech design, of course, the specific game mode setting, in-game visuals, achieve their fullest potential with the combination of the AOC monitor. As well, RIG, what it takes to win. We saw, of course, the side of UNSW Roar have what it takes to reverse sweep there. They had what it takes to win in 2-1 fashion there. RIG, of course, delivering superior audio for anyone at that competitive gaming environment or that streaming environment as well. RIG have you covered.
Yeah, again, big shout outs to Predator, AOC, and RIG for making this possible, because, of course, without them, well, we wouldn't really be able to put on this level of platform and put on such a big competition with so many teams, so many players involved, of course, across the entirety of the AEL University League. So definitely want to give a big thank you to them, as well as everyone who's been playing throughout this whole group stage and all of that. We've still got plenty more matches to go as we start to wrap up and get into the thick of things here with these playoffs coming through. But of course, if you want to see more of that, definitely be sure to follow the AEL on all social media platforms. If you want to find out more about them or upcoming events and live streams, be sure to check out AU Esports League on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And as for Twitch as well, if you're currently watching on a twitch.tv/ALUni2, but there's also the regular twitch.tv/ALUni. Be sure to follow both, and while you're following pages, of course, be sure to follow us. For the handsome man to my right, it's at TwoTapTony on Twitter, or for me, it's at It2SBS. If you've enjoyed the casting tonight, definitely be sure to give us a follow as well. But for now, that is going to be it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back with some more AEL University action very soon as this playoff bracket continues, so definitely be sure to tune in next time.